and welcome to the Wild West podcast. My name is Richie Riche of the MHRT Network. Over that away, we have DZ representing his Los Angeles Raiders. And down, sorry, see, you didn't even pay attention. See, you didn't hear what I said. Yeah, you didn't hear it. Yeah.
Did you do Raiders first?
No, I said Los Angeles Raiders to see if you're paying attention, and you didn't pick up on it.
No.
Nav picked up on it. You, not so much. Anyways, you're Los Angeles Chargers. And down below, we got Nav representing the Las Vegas Raiders. And we got a great show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the top two and worst two free agent signings for each of our teams. We're also going to get into the Max Crosby news. Obviously, Nav, that's going to be heavy on your info to the rest of us here. And we were talking in the green room. We have brought in Ref Guru, great friend of the show. Ref, sometimes you join us after the fact or sometimes late in the show. Want to give you a shout out for all of your insight into the NFL officiating for both myself and our fan base. But I think it might be worth our while just quickly touching on the other news that we are all talking about backstage about the potential strike that might be looming with the NFL officiating crews. And I think there's going to be some interesting discussions to be had, wanting to see the chat and your reactions. So without further ado, Nav, let's jump right into the Max Crosby news. Because I'm sure a lot of the Raiders fan base, and frankly, all of our fan bases are curious as to what happened there.
Yeah, so I do see a few Raiders in the comment section here. I just want to give them part of Raider Nation a little bit of love here. We got Jack G in the building, Bob Stenard, Raider Paul, and Furpo. And I just want to let you know, Furpo has like 97 jobs, so he's always on his way to work pretty much every time he comes into a show. So pretty sure he has several jobs, and he's making that paper. So I'm proud of you, brother. You just keep it going. And Raider Paul, I'll give you a quick one. Raiders!
God, we need warnings, man.
No, that's kind of the way I roll, right? When it's my turn. So anyway,
the answer to this question is yes.
Yes. There's no question. There's no question.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question to that.
No. So let's we'll jump into Max and go from there.
Okay, so everybody's aware of it was a botched trade that's kind of like based on the epic nature of it, is like a one-timer. It's a one-off, the way that happened. Okay, and I always, right as soon as they said they're backing out of the trade, I'm like, well, why couldn't you have flew the doctors to Vegas that you wanted to go examine that under the radar and not make it a thing? So that brought up questions to me. And then, so I'm like, you very could have easily, if that was the things, the medicals, you send your people to Vegas, right? That was my first thing. And it's when I look at a lot of people talking about it, even ESPN folks, I'm like, they don't bring up the fact that could have very easily flown to him instead of putting him on a commercial airplane for a 5-hour flight. This is from Max's the Rush. So flew 5 hours to DC because Baltimore, the Ravens said that there weren't enough flights coming into Baltimore, so therefore you're coming into DC. And if anybody's ever been into Reagan Airport, let me explain something to you about the traffic in that joint. Coming out of that.
It's horrible, dude. It is. I did it one time and refused to ever do it again.
Right. Well, and here's the thing. So not only that, so with all the traffic and all the other bull crap that's going on, right? He's got to get in a car now with a driver named Joe or Joel or something like that. He said he was a stuff. Loved the dude. And of course, Max is excited. He's not really paying any attention to it, but it's kind of weird that he flew. He goes, at least I flew first class. You know what I mean? Me and the family. So they're bringing Max, his wife, and kid there, right? My thing is, if they were getting cold feet, they should have said, no, just don't even come. Because they had a victory dinner set up for them and everything, which is a bunch of crap. So, regardless of who wanted Max traded or who did not want him traded, everybody that's a Raider fan knows that Max is a real one. Like he's Raider Nation for life. No different than Tim Brown, even though he went to another team and came back and to just for one day to retire a Raider. You know what I mean? It's the crazy part about it is, so there's that, and he's also 3 hours behind. So that's 8 hours on his mental clock, and then 2 more hours for the hotel. And they stay in the hotel, so he spends the entire next day in medical. Walks in the door, takes a look around and stuff, and then in medicals. Never met the coach. Nobody greeted him at all. Never met the GM up until this point. So you would think 2 first-rounders you're giving up for a dude like this, you would think they've been standing at the front door shaking his hand. Would you not?
I would assume the owner would have been at the front for yes, yeah,
right. That's Bisciotti, right? Bisciotti, yeah. So I'm trying to keep it real and not put my own perspective on it, but man, that's weird right off the get go. But Max gets it. It's a business. Let's go get all this stuff done. Everybody knows I had a meniscus repair, which was a little bit more than what we thought, but my doctor, being the best in the country at this, says I'm perfectly on time. In fact, I'm a little bit ahead. So, gets the medicals done. Then after that, he's in the facility for 5 hours before the driver said, "Oh, I'm going to take you upstairs so you can meet Jesse Minter." And Max made it pretty clear. So Max goes in there and says, "Hey, I kind of dabbed him up, and that type of stuff." And he had this unexcited look on his face, and it felt weird. He goes, "At that point, that's when everything started. The vibe was weird." And he goes, "I'm in the coach's office, and I look through the windows, and there's the GM. Still never met." Jesse Minter at that point said, "Hey, there's a little bit of a problem. The doctors are looking at it, saying your future may not be what." This is coming from Max. The future is a little bit in doubt based on what some of our doctors are saying, or some of the consultants are saying. And of course, Max is a little bit freaked out about that because he's like, "Damn, if I need another surgery, I need to do that shit now." Because now it's a little far along. So he calls his agent, he calls his doctor, and his doctor goes, "Dude, you're exactly where or past where I expected you to be, and you're fine. Do not worry about that part." So Max is like, his name's Arache or something like that. He's a well-renowned sports ortho guy that does these surgeries, Keeley's, he does all this stuff. So, and then, so he calls his agent and says, "Hey, what's going on?" And his agent goes, "Hey, CJ is his name. CJ's his agent. CJ's kind of like, "Hey, they may back out of this, man." And he goes like, "What the F?" You know what I mean? Oh, we just got over 10 minutes. But anyway, I'm not going to throw it out there just to throw it out there. But anyway, looked up. It was like 10:32. But anyway, and he goes, just don't worry about it. I'm going to make some phone calls and do some other stuff to find out what's going on. And then talks to Jesse Minter or someone else in the building and says, no, we're still doing it. Don't worry about it. No big deal. So his agent calls him like 5 minutes after that and goes, dude, they're backing out. They're backing out of the trade. You know, and he goes, wait, what the F again? Wait a second. Why you send me all the way out here for this thing? You know, it's still to my point that I always said was, why didn't they just send the doctors to him? Why do you have to go all the way there? Why? Remember, I told you about conspiracy theories. Here's why. Because they went, wait, we don't have to give up 2 first-rounders for this dude. It's not about the money when Trey Hendrickson's right here. We don't have to trade anything for him. And the BS that they said that they were trying to get them both in the building at the same time, they couldn't do it. Even with Linderbaum's contract that the Raiders owns now. So after it's all said and done, here's the class. I just want to say the class of the Raiders on this. So when Max finds us out, who does he call? John Spytek. John says, bring your butt home. Get your butt home. And guess who was waiting? It was private jet. It was world-class stuff. And when he gets in the building, everybody's there to greet him. His teammates are there because they've learned from him being there at 5:45 in the morning. That's when you do that. That's how you operate in the offseason. You get to work early. And all these dudes are dabbing them up, and they're all worried. They're all kind of worried about how Max was going to be, which I would be too. The crazy part is that this GM never had the nuts to tell him himself.
DaCosta.
So, but he sure could go on a presser and say he was gutted. If he was gutted over it not happening, he would have had that conversation with Max himself, with the head coach sitting there.
It's so weird. It's such a weird situation because it seems like everything escalated so quickly within that building. You know, they made the trade, right? Like publicly, it was on every damn, TV show. They flew him out there, they got all his, hotel and the whole nine, right? And then it's like something happened between ownership, GM. I don't think Jesse Minter had anything to say about it because he's so wet behind the ears. Like he's a defensive guy. He would have loved to have Max.
But here's the crazy part. Max goes to say, I want to talk to Jesse Minter because he's a defensive guy. I want to chop up football with him.
Right.
And when he met him, it was like unceremonious, completely unceremonious. They dapped
was
up.
it him or somebody else? Because I remember he went to dap somebody up, and I think he was it was no emotion.
That was Jesse Minter.
Oh, because so maybe Jesse knew then.
I think Jesse knew. He just didn't want to be this brand new head coach. He didn't want to be the dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to say this is all a bullshit, because I'm pretty sure before he walked in the building, they already knew that.
Dude. So I guess everybody knows who Eric Waddle is. Safety. He was with the Chargers, played with the Ravens, played with the Rams. He was saying hey, this happened to him, not to him personally, but when he was there in 2018 with the Ravens
with Ryan Grant.
Yeah, and he was
Ryan Grant and Crabtree.
He's like, this. It's good. It's a business, but he's like, it's also a bad look. So it's like, there's 2 ways to look at this, and obviously. You look at it like I wouldn't work with these guys ever again, but then you see as the years go by, people still. So maybe a rule needs to be put in place, during the tampering period.
I just think they need to take the tampering period away. If you make a trade, you make a trade. It's done.
Yeah. I'm not sure how how to go about that. So I'm not going
to. Before you even publicly say I'm going to trade for this guy, you have your doctors do what they need to do.
See, I agree with that.
Basis,
I agree
You
with
go
that
to
for
their
sure.
facility and you check it all out, and then you call trade, and it's done. It needs to be a written agreement immediately.
This Max Crosby trade, air quotes,
Right.
is going to be used, and this idiot owner from Baltimore. I'm sorry, there's just no other way of putting out there.
The thing is, though, he's been before this happened. Everybody was saying what a great owner he is.
No, this idiot owner who allowed this to happen, because as an owner, you have veto power over everything within that organization.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, anyone that's saying, no, this guy's great, I love him, he's blah, blah, blah. Okay. He could have gone back to his GM or whomever else and said, how is it that like one of the best orthos in the country is saying that his patient is ahead of schedule, willing to put his reputation on the line, because that's what it is, right? He's ahead of schedule and he's looking good, and he's publicly stated that as a doctor. And you're going to say that this other doctor that is basically a Cowboys doctor who's also an ortho guy.
5 of them.
Yeah. Said, not really. It makes no sense. If this ever happened outside of the NFL, and like think of like a CEO as an example.
Heads would roll. Heads would roll.
There would be like a lawsuit that was like an incredible sum of money that would be owed back to that CEO that was put in that situation. Because the simple fact is this: they have ruined, and I mean literally ruined, the trade market for Max Crosby as a result of what they did here.
We are the West Coast Ravens, John.
Well, and I will tell you this: 2 things I'm very proud of.
I want to play devil's advocate after you real quick.
Yeah.
What 2 things I'm very proud of after the aftermath of this. First is the way the Raiders freaking said, come on home. Let's go. Nobody's, we got you. You're a Raider, man. Let's go. Come on back. You're still there. We don't have to change anything. Just come on home. You know what I mean? And the other part is what they did in free agency just makes Max better. I mean, he's got to be looking at these freaking dudes that, I mean, Quay Walker and, come on, help me real quick with the other
Nakobe Dean.
Nakobe Dean. I mean, Kwity Paye. I mean, these.
You got another one, another linebacker too. I think from the Colts or somebody.
Yeah.
Alubi. I can't say. I don't know.
Yeah, Loby. Yeah. It's good, and re-signing Eric Stokes makes Max very happy because they're buddies. They're tight. And then Malcolm Kuntz, I don't think that they re-signed him for a year just because they thought Max might be gone. I think they re-signed him anyway. The thing about it is, when you're talking about a 3-4, if they thought Max was going to be gone, they would have been out there searching for an edge rusher. And they weren't. They weren't even in the market for it. So it made Spytek's, ears were probably, his hair was standing up with Max going over there and stuff. So he held on to the cash. He didn't continue to try to push for an edge rusher or anything like that, like say Trey and all that stuff. And it worked out to their advantage because now they have all this upgraded defense. And I'll tell you what, Ron Johnson's no sissy either. That's a huge pickup. That's a free safety we've needed for a long time. So that frees up Chin to be a strong safety and stay one, especially in a 3-4. I think this defense is going to be pretty damn stout if they can gel together. And Max being back in the building helps that, to be perfectly honest with you, as far as the gelling. And he's made it very clear. He goes, obviously, I was born to be here, and I'm going to stay here. So at the end of the day, I'm proud of a couple things, the way the front office handled all of it. And then when it all went down like that, the way they took care of Max, you know what I mean? So I'm very proud of it. That's different than what we've seen in a long time. The front office has done very well, and I'm looking forward to this. You guys probably aren't.
I have two things I just want to bring up, and I'm going to throw over to DZ, who said he had Devil's Advocate play here.
Yeah.
Number one, Ed, my comment, and by the way, thanks for joining, Ed. Always love having you in the chat because your comments are always very pointed in terms of the topic of discussion.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, I actually truly mean this. I really like it when Ed's here. He's a fantastic fan of the show. So thank you for being here. Number one, Ed, my comments were not and did not have to do with what I believe the NFL is going to do to Baltimore. I believe that the NFLPA, come the next negotiations, are going to point to what the owner of Baltimore did and say, this is a red line, like literally just like a line in the sand, and say,
can't do that to our players.
Like, you can't do that to players. Full stop, period. That's it.
But he's done it multiple times.
No, I understand that. But the thing is, he's done that to lesser players.
Are you saying the NFLPA should say that?
I believe the NFL, the Players Association.
Oh, they're a joke, dude. We know they're a joke.
I agree, but there's going to be certain things that the players are going to demand, and this is one of those things that's messing with the players' money and messing with the players' livelihood. And there are a few things that
and their family,
and their family
for that,
and and their family. I agree with that as well. This really is, I think, one of the. Like, the other ones were kind of like lesser known players. Max Crosby, I don't care who you are, what team you're with, he is in an upper tier in the NFL in terms of name recognition, talent, et cetera, et cetera.
He's a blue chip player.
He is the guy that you look to and be like, that's an NFL player, right? Okay, cool. Yeah. He's in that caliber. He's like a Von Miller type in terms of player in the NFL.
And it's crazy, when he came out, he wasn't a blue chip. So he's earned this. So he's earned this.
He is very much like a Khalil Mack, or who's the guy from the Rams? I can't remember his name now.
Aaron Donald?
Aaron Donald. Okay. Aaron Donald was not a blue chip dude coming out of the draft. Yeah. He was just kind of like a potential guy, and he basically turned himself into Aaron Donald, right? Like, he did the thing that Max Crosby has effectively done, right? So my point is that I think this is going to be an NFLPA thing, not necessarily the NFL going after the owner of the league.
The NFLPA has bigger fish to fry. Because of them, we have the play on the field is getting worse and worse, I feel like, every year. They take away preseason games. The practices are shorter. We have more soft tissue, probably due to the lack of practices. I mean, they used to have 2-a-days. They don't do that anymore. Next thing you know, we're going to have maybe 2 preseason games and then extra NFL games. So it's going to be an 18-week season. And that's all thanks to NFLPA, by the way. So that's why I don't mess with those guys. And then you can blame them as well for quarterback, the lack of quarterback play, I guess. But this, by no means am I sticking up for the Ravens, because I don't really give a shit about the Ravens. If anything, I will kind of root more towards the Commanders over the Ravens. But and Nav kind of touched on it. Like, we all know what happened. They got cold feet, and they had another opportunity that they could jump on, right? They're like, okay, we got a new coach. We're losing a lot of high-end players, right? And they looked at what draft capital they had, and they're like, hang on, this isn't adding up. And then I want to say that Trey thing popped up pretty quickly. You know what I mean? Like, I think that all happened very fast as well. And they jumped on that, rightfully so. And from a business perspective, just take out all the feelings about this. This worked out really well for the Ravens. They got their picks back.
It worked. I think it worked out better for the Ravens, because they also lost. I think it worked well for both sides. They also lost an all-world center.
Sure, but they're not paying him what you guys are paying him.
I agree, but that's okay.
Ton of money, but
it's okay.
Well, that's two different stories. I think Linderbaum will do wonders for a rookie quarterback. I think Lamar is going to be fine with, an average, steady guy out there, but it's obviously going to hurt the offensive line. But I think both sides it worked well for. It worked out for the Ravens, and it worked well for the Raiders. The Raiders get to keep Max on probably what's going to be a better defense than that he's played on in quite a few years. Which, I mean, depending on how your guys' draft goes and the rest of free agency.
Well,
but
you look at it from this perspective, the way the Raiders treated him on the way back in, Max is going to be way more receptive to team-friendly deals.
Sure. Like he sees what's going on around him. He's like, damn, dude, for once it looks like people know what the hell they're doing since I've been here. And and I think that's how everybody outside the Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs are all kind of seeing this is like, look, they actually are adulting right now in Vegas, and we've got to be on our, we got to be ready for this. But
hey, Hug, how you doing? Bueno, what's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
Yeah, I think it worked out for both sides, and yeah, it's a horrible bad look. But look, in a few weeks, everybody's going to forget everything happened. To be honest, because this is how society is these days.
Well, and we look, and a lot of Raider fans are like, okay, now what do we do with the? No, how about our?
I love the fact that Raiders and Raven fans are beefing right now. I think it's great. I'm like, hell yeah, you guys have at it, because on X right now they're like, it's like a war going on.
I guarantee it. And I don't pay much attention to X, so I mean, unless I get a breaking news thing or something. But I mean, the one thing that I got to give credit to Spytek on, I'm pretty sure he saved enough money to be able to absorb back Max just in case. The dude probably had a freaking spidey sense or something. Something wasn't right, and I'm pretty sure they were wanting to sign more. But for the Raider Nation, I just want to let you guys know that we also have a lot of releases that we still have to do before June 1st. So once the draft's done, then there's going to be a lot of folks released that are on $2 and $3 million freaking 1-year deals or whatever they may be. So there's going to be a lot of releases.
There was a woman reporter just before our show started saying, I think she must do something with the Raiders, but she was like, the Raiders still have flexibility with their cap to
absolutely
signing. I think maybe fans are panicking or something, but she was like, hey, they still got stuff going on.
I mean, the virtual number for them right now is $54.5 million. That's the virtual number. So reality number is with Max returning is about 32, and the math don't math between the two, so it's hard to So, I mean, to me, overall, worked out best for us. After it's all said and done, we got what we needed. I can't wait to see two maulers, JPJ and Linderbaum, just freaking mauling people up there. And if,
not stoked about that at all.
And if our young guys kind of prove that they're going to get better than they did last year, because towards the end, Rodgers looked great. Hell, Grant actually looked pretty good, as a right tackle. So, I mean, I was like, okay, I'm good with what we got. And then we roll in the draft, and anybody says we're not getting freaking Mendoza, they're just off because it's happening. I really don't think there's any question. So I'll leave it at that, Richie.
Yeah, this is, like I said, I think this is going to set the tone for the next few years in the NFL for free agency, for the NFLPA negotiations, for, a whole host of different things. And it'll be very interesting, in my opinion. I think it'll be very, very interesting. I think this is I believe that we're going to look back on this and remember the Max Crosby trade that never was having been the thing that changed how the players in the league allow trades to occur, especially with injured players that are coming off injury. I think there's going to be some framework put around it to ensure that we don't end up with what we have here, because the fan bases are not happy. So the fans aren't happy, which is a huge issue for the NFL. There's no way it can't be. Well, the fans aren't happy, but then again, it's also causing a lot of buzz online, which is like sometimes bad press is also not bad press, right? Like, yeah. So, it is what it is. But I think ultimately the negative that it brings to the players is going to outshine everything else, and the players do have more power than they believe that they do in the negotiations. And the NFL needs to be careful about how they broach this, because I do not think that this should be any changes that come from this that are at least reasonable. I don't believe the NFL should die on that hill.
Right. So I got a question for you guys. Did I ever tell you the story about when Geno flipped off the nation? Did I ever tell you about who was involved in that?
Yeah, you're one of your buddies, right?
Oh yeah, one of the guys that's on my channel. He's Hug D's. He's right there in the comment section.
Is DZ Wilson a Raider fan? No, dude. But you guys don't own black, bro. All right, Jesus. Can't work.
I mean, the hat does. I mean, if you look real quick, it can go.
Yeah, I guess dark sea. Yeah, it does kind of look like the.
I mean, I guess.
Look, the sport. Yeah.
Look,
they're just messing with you, man.
You can. Yeah.
Puma sweater just up top, but it's like green down below. So yeah.
Look, in fairness, there's certainly enough smoke in the outfit that you're wearing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
it's a fair leap.
I'm gonna have to
It's fair. It's fair.
So,
dude, I hate the. I'm not rocking powder blue.
I don't think I'm leaving any doubt.
No,
he looks like a traffic cone.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I don't rock. Look, I'm a diehard Chargers fan. Been that for damn near almost my whole life. But I do not like powder blue. I'm a big navy guy. I love their navy colors or white. But black, that's like 90% of my outfits is black. So.
So there was a huge DZ bash there for a moment.
Look,
right.
Look, I'm one of the few. Look, here's the deal. I believe I've actually given myself enough grace within, the Raiders fan base and how I've assessed your team, where I called balls and strikes pretty fairly, even when the Broncos were on the ascension, where I said, I think you guys are going to beat us. I don't think we're going to beat you, or I think we're going to beat you, and here's why. I haven't just been a Broncos homer. And DZ's a fan of the show for long enough to know that most of those I actually got right. I actually called when the Broncos were going to lose to the Raiders, and I got them right. A lot of Broncos country fans were like, I don't understand.
DZ did too. DZ is real good at going, here's the weaknesses, here's the strengths. It doesn't look good for the Chargers on this one. And he was pretty much right on everyone he called too.
Yeah, I don't remember half the shit I say, so
yeah,
we'll just.
So
that's why I got notes.
Yep.
Wait till you're my age. Gets way worse.
Nice. Nice. I can just claim insomnia and I'll be fine.
So did Nav pretty much real quick, Richie? So I would assume is Max like your favorite free agent edition? Does that count or not really?
Free agent edition?
I mean,
Max. No. Hell no, the two linebackers. Freaking that shit right there is huge considering the defense we're going to be running. That's massive. That's the free agent
I'm surprised you didn't say Linderbaum at all. That's okay.
That was a trade though.
Yes, I'm from San Diego, buddy.
Oh wait, that was free agent.
Yeah.
But we had to sign him and change his contract to get it. So
North County kid.
yeah, because they did. I don't know why the Ravens didn't give him his 5th-year option. That would have been on the cheap.
I don't know. Well, I thought it was going to be pretty hefty.
20.
So they dude, we kept hearing that stuff for a while that they were going to offer him like a record-setting deal, and everybody's like, with what money? You guys don't have any money. I mean, but whatever.
Maybe that's why they couldn't. They just flat couldn't.
But then when I saw his contract for the Raiders, I was like, oh wow, holy crap! And
we had it to spend.
Yeah, he's like, you can't give that up. That's a big chunk of change that's not going to be taxed to all hell. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll tell you, both you guys. I mean, we talked about upcoming games and things that were happening. I think a lot of the three of us, we were pretty much on point. And if we weren't on point, who won? It was close. You know, pretty much the three of us. I'm going to give us the credit on that one, because I think we all were in real close on a lot of score calls. All of us.
Yes. Yeah, we were. So let's maybe flip over to UGZ, and we'll go for your top 2 free agents that you brought in so far.
Well, yeah. We need to fire our GM still. I'm still on that hill. Like, I put out a post the other day. I'm like, dude, this guy, yes, I'm being emotional, but I'm like, this dude should probably resign and let Chad Alexander take over. Chad Alexander's been in the building for a while. He worked under Telesco. Now he's working under Ortiz. But this whole Ravens West GM philosophy, we kind of were talking about it before the show kicked on. This whole comp BS formula stuff, it only works if you have the personnel to let go, right?
Yes.
And so it's not working for the Chargers to get your comp, because you're releasing guys and immediately having to sign guys back. I think in order for a comp to work, a guy has to be signed for $3.5 million or $3 million. It's one of those numbers. Yep. And then you got to bring another guy in, and it doesn't work. And we're going into year 3, and he gets a pass for year 1, because they were negative $65 million in the hole when they inherited the team. But teams like the Niners, the Rams, who else? They kill it with this comp stuff, because that's just their whole MO, and they've laid the foundation. You know, they let guys go because they can bring in similar dudes or whatever. But what he's doing is he's bringing in all these guys for these 1-2 year deals, dirt cheap, and you've got to think that they're losing out on dudes. And one of the major priorities, these last couple of years is hey, build this damn O-line, man. Get Justin some freaking protection, right? Well, they did. So I'll just talk about that. Let's just talk about one of those things. One of my favorite free agent additions is the center that they signed. I talked about him when this happened. Is Tyler Biotish. He was with the Commanders. Commanders released him, I think, to probably save some cap, and I think they're changing schemes. He's been known as a zone center, 6'4", 316 pounds. He was a 4th-round pick with the Cowboys in 2020. Came out of Wisconsin. He was ranked last year anywhere from a top 10 center, top 15, anywhere in between that through multiple different rankings. You know how I feel about ranking linemen. It kind of is you got to just take it with a grain of salt. You got to trust your eyes with offensive linemen. So, that's going to be a major improvement, because the last 2 years, Justin center, Bradley Bozeman, who retired, thank the man above. ranked like 34th out of there's only 32 teams, and he ranked 34th out of centers. Like, huge red flags. So everybody knows when you have a competent center in the middle of the line, you can get away with some stuff. You know what I mean? You can get away with some stuff with some iffy guard play because they kind of hold it down. And, no better example than the Kansas City Chiefs with Creed Humphrey. Like, what they've been able to get away with him, who's arguably probably the best center in the league. And it's looking like it potentially the second best center in the league could be in our division down below with the Las Vegas Raiders, but we'll see how that plays out. But he's definitely one of my favorites. And then another guy they brought in that was kind of flew under the radar, and it wasn't like a super big need, but I'm just going to throw out there is Kenna texted me while the show's going on, and I'm getting buzz in my ear. Jack, if you're watching, we're doing the show. But, they got Keaton Mitchell. I don't know if everybody in this chat knows who Keaton Mitchell is, but he was the running back with the Ravens. You guys, Raiders' favorite organization. He was like their change of pace, small back, and I was like, seeing him from afar, I always knew that I was like, fucking timeout, dude. I can't do this with buzzing in my ear, dude.
Let me call him.
Like, holy shit, bro.
Is that Kenna?
Yes. But so Keaton Mitchell. Oh, let's go back on that. Sorry, folks. He was a UDFA. He was 24 years old, 5'8", 190, right? Nothing special. But what's been lacking in LA has been the kick return game. I think last year he ranked 8th in kick return yards at 26.9. I could hear Nav in the background. Anyways, we're still live. So let's go back. Oh, there you go. You put it on mute. So I always thought like A-Chain. Everybody knows A-Chain, right? He's probably the last, guy in Miami because it looks like Miami's tearing everything down to the studs. And I always thought like A-Chain's probably would be the fastest running back in the league, right? Apparently not. I guess this Keaton Mitchell kid was the fastest guy in the league last year, running 14.49 miles per hour. I guess for a running back, that's extremely fast. He had the reading my notes. The most fastest carries in the league or something last year, or the most explosive, something like that. Anyways, you guys all know who our OC is going to be, Mike McDaniel. And with this guy thrown in the mix, he's going to be a third running back because he's going to be behind Kamani Vidal and obviously Omarion Hampton. I think he's going to be a big help. And
he likes his track stars.
Yes, and they needed
your
some
guy
speed.
likes his track stars. Yeah,
they're still looking for speed. There's still rumors about them looking for an X. That ship might have sailed, with Shaheed staying in Seattle, Alec Pierce going back to Indianapolis. I still see rumblings and rumors about AJ Brown, who's not known as a burner, but AJ Brown being a potential cut in June 1st and potential trade bait. But I'm like, dude, we don't have any trade capital. You only have 5 picks. Why I'm pissed with this free agency is you only have 5 picks. You should have been more aggressive, especially in the offensive line department. And we'll get into that when we talk about the 2 worst. But yeah, so Tyler Biotish, center, awesome. And then Keaton Mitchell, kind of under the radar signing for them that, if he could stay healthy, he could be a problem, especially with the special teams. And, on the offense. Jack, you were texting me. It's going right in my ears. So just letting you know. But salute, buddy. Love you.
Hey, I will tell you, DZ, I'll tell you something, man. With Joel Slater back healthy and Amari and Hampton back healthy, that's a whole nother. Look, those three dudes. That was like pillar level. Oh my God, when Justin Herbert has to still be a quarterback, dude, that is freaking crazy.
So
losing that amount of talent up front. And a running back that knows how to block for your quarterback as well, and an explosive big dude. You know what I mean? So the addition of that running back in there with speed, I think is great for you guys.
I'm just like, if this all works perfectly, which, let's be honest, rarely does. And let's be honest, the Chargers and the state of California, I'll throw the California and then I'll throw the Chargers specifically. They don't have a good track record of keeping athletes healthy for one reason or another. And so the knock on Keaton Mitchell is he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's got that J.K. Dobbins problem. And I don't know what it is coming from Baltimore, but whatever. And then you come to LA, which isn't going to do you any favors in staying healthy. But like, if everything works perfectly, it should be electric. That being said, nobody knows how Slater's going to return, off that injury, which is brutal. And then another thing that not a lot of the fan base talks about is Joe Alt's ankle was completely obliterated. Yeah. And there's very little information on that as well. It wasn't just some minor surgery. They asked him, when the season was ending, they're like, what happened to your ankle? And he's like, everything. Like, pretty much like
it's all destroyed.
And then we'll get into the two worst free agents, because there's one that I'm going to talk about that contributed to Joel getting his ankle just obliterated, and they decided to run it back with this clown. But yeah, Nav, I agree. In a perfect world, if they can make this work, it should be something special offensively.
Yep. Yeah, I'm good with it. I just think, this AFC West is going to be a gauntlet.
Definitely. I agree. Richie?
I want to go over mine.
Yeah, you wanted to throw your two favorite free agent additions?
Sure. I'm going to surprise a boatload of people. And I love it, because I don't give a crap about what most of Broncos country thinks, because I don't think that they are assessing a team as a whole. I think that they're looking at splash plays and they're wanting all these, like, they're not truly looking at what it takes to build a team to have long-term sustainability. They're just wanting, like, the flash in the pan. And I have never been a flash of the pan kind of guy. Those who know me know exactly the brand of football that I want to play. And it is vicious. It is brutal. And yeah, exactly. So my number one best free agent signing that I like is little Jordan Humphrey. And let me tell you, I just got a whole whack of Broncos country that heard me say that out loud and has thrown something now at their computer screen. But hear me out, and this is why I like him. Number one, he fills a void that nobody else on the Broncos really fills. Like, he does all of the things that nobody else on the team does. And then number two, we brought him in on a vet minimum. Okay, we didn't break the bank to sign him. We didn't sign him on some, like, stupid long-term deal that was, like, ridiculous or anything. We brought him back on a vet minimum deal. And this is why I like little Jordan Humphrey. Number one, despite his name, the dude is very big. Okay, like, he is a very large human being. Also, despite his size, he actually has some pretty decent speed and is a pretty solid route runner when he gets out on the field. And I think that's something that a lot of Broncos country doesn't really give him enough credit for. And then number two, he does the dirty work at the wide receiver position. He is willing to, block in the run game. He is willing to block on those screen plays. He's willing to do like the gritty work that you need to do on a football team to allow you to win games. And he takes no credit for it within Broncos country. So, number one, that's my number one, is because of all of those things. Every team needs a dude that's like that. Every team needs a guy that does the gritty work.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
and it's not just the Pat Bryant here, which I'm going to bring in this comment here. Pat Bryant is a contested catch possession style wide receiver. I want to just address this real quick just to make sure that we're all on the same page. Pat Bryant is actually more akin to a replacement for Courtland Sutton than he is a replacement for Lil Jordan Humphrey. And hear me out, and this is why. Courtland Sutton is not he's a big dude, but he's not a super, super fast guy. So he's not that like Demaryius Thomas type who's like the big, fast, combination guy that can kind of do it all. Pat Bryant is the possession wide receiver, just like Courtland Sutton. He catches the dirty balls, the contested catches. He he basically blocks out the opponent's defense to allow the catch to be made. He's starting to block in the run game and in the wide receiver screens and screen plays and bubble screens and that sort of thing. But he doesn't have the size and physicality that Lil Jordan Humphrey has. Lil Jordan Humphrey just has that extra. He's basically a super, super fast tight end and therefore can also play wide receiver. That's what Lil Jordan Humphrey is. And I actually almost like Lil Jordan Humphrey better than I like Ingram. Like as a general player, I just think he's done more for us as a team. Like I just think Evan Ingram, when you compare him and Lil Jordan Humphrey, I just think Jordan Humphrey's done more for us as a team.
Yeah, I mean, you guys really haven't gotten much out of your tight end room.
Yeah,
if just looking at last year, in general.
So that's my general point on Lil Jordan Humphrey, and I just think he provides all of the tick boxes that the team doesn't have, and he's a much bigger signing than people are willing to give him credit for.
I did not expect you to name him.
That was number one. Number two, Jaquan McMillan. Now he was a restricted free agent or an ERA, and we tendered him, and we got him back at a steal of a deal, and I do expect us to bring him on a long-term deal, in my opinion, for what it's worth. Or at the very least, we're gonna let play out, depending on what happens.
He was an EFRA, Richie?
I think he was a restricted free agent.
Okay, so I'm wondering, like, no team could have matched. I think that's the E.
They could they could have poached him, but he was a second round tender.
Okay, that's where. Okay, the second round's where it comes in, because I'm like, he would be a guy that damn near a lot of teams would love to go
I'm not going to surprise though. I'm very surprised. I actually thought another team was going to take him for a second rounder. I would have.
Yeah.
A slot corner that has the pedigree and the stats that he has, dude, I would have taken him for a second rounder like every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
I don't know. Second round's really high. He was a UDFA, right?
He was an undrafted free agent, but I don't care.
Second round tenders, crazy.
But I don't care what his draft pedigree is. Screw that nonsense.
I know, but that's a front office. That's front office stuff, dude.
Yeah, but look at what his play is on the field.
It is. It's fantastic. But then you got to look who he's playing amongst.
I know.
He's playing amongst some really elite secondary guys. You know what I mean?
So when you have a dude who's an undrafted free agent stick out on a team that has Pat Surtain that no team wants to throw to.
Right.
That tells you all you need to know.
I get
Like,
it.
I'm sorry, that's it. Like, it is what it is. And so I'm really, really surprised that no team tried to poach him for that second round pick, because I'm telling you right now, there is no there is no nickel cornerback who you're going to find in this year's NFL draft who's going to be better than Jaquan McMillan in the second round. No way.
I mean, it's going to be hard to argue that.
No way. Sorry, just not happening.
Well, so look at you just mentioned your two guys, which everybody in this chat or people who are watching it's like, hang on, dude, what? Like, come on, WTF? Because you guys have made a trade for a guy that there's been rumors going back to last season.
Yep.
Connected. You made a trade and landed the Penguin, and then on top of that, up until that trade, that was your guys' only external free agent, and then until a guy just wrote in the chat, I believe. I have no clue who that is. Probably some depth guy. And you're not even mentioning Waddle as being happy about that, because you think it's why? What's your reasoning behind that?
So I have an unpopular opinion, which should come as a shock to nobody. That
we need the drum thing in the back. We need we really do.
When you look at what we saw from the combine, as well as the quality of wide receivers that are coming out in terms of speed in the draft,
a lot of speed, yeah.
The one thing that Waddle has is speed, and he's got a very polished route tree.
Yeah.
Okay. It is what, like, I'm not even like, I'm not going to say I'm not angry at the trade. I'm just more neutral on it than most.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm neutral on it is you gave up the 30th pick, and you also gave up your third round draft pick. And while you get a guy that can help your team right now today, and while that's great for a rookie quarterback that's on his rookie deal, I haven't seen the draft yet, obviously, because none of us have, in terms of how it shapes out. But my concern is that there would be a guy that is in his rookie year only a half step below Waddle in terms of speed, that can develop into the route runner in his second year on a rookie deal with my Denver Broncos.
Yeah, but let me clap back at that. You now just drafted. Look at the Broncos didn't really need much. Out of any team in the NFL, they're built and they took care of their own free agents. We saw them I think throughout last season, they were extending their players. People
Malcolm Roach was one of the best signings the team ever made.
Right.
Ever. Yeah.
When they made this trade, to me, I was like, this makes too much sense. And people are like, damn, that's a lot they gave up. And I'm like, they didn't need anybody. And now, this is my theory, with that second round pick, you guys, I still think you guys could make or trade off some assets, right, to maybe recoup some more draft capital back. But I think that second round pick is going to go for a D tackle to replace JFM. You're going to probably get another D tackle out of the draft with your second round pick, and you're probably going to get a damn good one. But what this does is your guys' window, you guys saw how the Broncos, everybody in the NFL saw how close the Broncos were to going to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, that happens to your quarterback. You can't control that. That was like a freak situation. So getting this guy, Waddle, who, let's be frank, outside of Cortland Sutton, I don't think many defenses respected your guys' your weapons.
Nope.
So now you put Waddle on the field. That takes number one cornerback off of Sutton. Goes to Waddle. So now you have Sutton open. Go ahead, Nav.
They have to respect it now.
Right.
Yes.
And this guy is no joke. I mean, dude, he is, top 20 receiver in the league.
Look, I'm not even arguing that.
Right.
My thing here is there's a delta between what you paid to get him and the what if potential of the first and third. I don't even count the fourth round swap. That's just that by the way, fourth round swap, that's got George Payton in like flashing letters all over it. Because George Payton is all about that little extra value that comes out of like a deal. And when you look at the Denver Broncos trade, there's always these like weird, wonky, like crazy crap that you hear like as part of it, which is like
Who's George Payton?
GM.
He's our GM
for the Broncos.
for the Broncos.
How did I not know that?
Well, that's a you problem, not a me problem.
Yeah, it's not a popular.
But he spells his last name Paton, whereas obviously Sean Payton spells it the proper way. Most people think his name is Patton, not Payton.
Okay. Now it makes more sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a great trade, to be honest with you, especially for your team.
Here's my thing. I am neutral on it. I am totally fine with what we gave up to get a player of Waddle's caliber. However, I'm also looking at it from the flip side, which is I believe that there's enough positions and enough players that would leave some absolute top tier wide receivers at pick 30 that would enable the Broncos to get a rookie guy on a rookie deal, develop with Bo Nix as he goes for the next 3 years.
So to make you feel better, Richie. So like a guy that's kind of like around that pick 30 would have been Casey Conception, however you want to say his name.
Yes.
Some bad news just came out about him, about his knee, like a potential tear in his knee or something that he could even drop even farther. So I don't know. There's two sides to every coin. I think you have maybe a little FOMO. You're like, man, like what could this first and third have been?
No, because I am also not as high on my team's offensive line as most Broncos fans. Yeah, I'm also not as high on the Broncos running back room that we currently have coming into the draft. I'm also not as high on the Broncos tight end room, although most Broncos fans are not high on our tight end room, so that's kind of a unilateral thing, both me and them. But
to me, that's your major offensive issue. Is not to have a game wrecker at tight end.
I agree, but the thing here is that by trading away pick 30 and your third round draft pick, you've kind of removed the bookends out of the draft, and you've removed your ability to either maneuver or draft those guys to backfill your team. And then the other thing that a lot of other folks that are not named me have not made mention of is Garrett Bowles is not getting any younger. Now, to his credit, the dude had his best year of his career last year. So, like, good for you. Father Time has actually not impacted you yet, but he's not getting any younger. And that's a critical position on almost every football team, which is your left tackle. And McGlinchey has had like yo-yo games for the Denver Broncos at right tackle, and he's not getting any younger. So those are your bookend two positions, left and right tackle, on your team that you are not looking to replace in this year's draft whatsoever.
Right.
And so the Broncos are in a much more narrowed window than I think that most people are giving them credit for. And above and beyond that, you need a tight end and a running back to really bolster your offense so that you're not relying so heavily on your defense to win you all of those games every single time.
I don't think running back is out of the question. I think you guys can still probably grab somebody. Tight end, I was just as confused as probably the Bronco country is about what they've done, just locking up all those guys. I'm like, why? For what reason? Like that didn't make any sense to me. But I want to maybe, Broncos country can answer this, or you can, Richie. Like, do you think that this Waddle trade might have had something to do with a new play caller this year?
Yes.
Like so I'm thinking like maybe.
No, because Sean Payton. Well, sorry. Yes, it had to do with the new play caller, but he was already on the radar last year with Sean Payton, and Sean Payton has a storied history. Like this is not like breaking news on the show or anything. Sean Payton has a storied history of wanting wide receiver development rather than trading for big ticket and big names. He's wanting to take a guy and like elevate his play with coaching.
I mean, you can
Whereas
now argue with Waddle put in that wide receiver room. That could be Broncos probably have a top 3 wide receiver room in the league right now, from top to bottom. I would say, or you could just say, just to be safe, top 5 wide receiver room. So, but when they made this trade, I was like, okay, yeah, we heard the connections to this, but I'm like, there also is going to be a new play caller this year. So I'm wondering, is this going to be? Are they going to be running something a little different for Bo going into his will be his year 3, right?
Third, yeah.
So it's like maybe they open up for Bo and be like, hey, Bo, sling it, like, you know what I mean, like.
Well, they've already tried having him sling it, which is what my concern is. Is Sean Payton was already putting most of the game on Bo's back. Now, to answer Dom's comment here below, we already did not have a great team around Bo Nix, if we're going to be perfectly honest, on the offensive side of the ball last year. We had a decent offensive line who struggled against specific teams last year, especially ones that were very physical.
I think they struggled against teams with those big D tackles or nose tackles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what I meant, physical teams. So like the Chargers had some kind of big guys that were kind of a little bit more aggressive. And the Broncos also struggled against some other key teams that had some larger, more physical, stronger interior defensive linemen. And the Broncos offensive line struggled actually a fair amount against teams that were like that. So do I think Bo Nix can overcome that type of play? Well, we've seen him do it. So my answer is yes, he obviously can, because we've already seen Bo Nix keep the level head. Although I also think that too many in Broncos country are not giving Sean Payton the credit for playing a bit of chess when it came to play calling throughout the game. Because what you saw with the Broncos on the offensive side of the ball was an attempt to kind of ensure your offense did just enough to keep you in the game. And then at key points in the game, run a look that you did earlier that you got beat on, and then run a slightly different play and kill the other team.
That was all season.
That was all season for the Broncos.
That was all season.
That's how we
did
it.
That was like your guys' MO.
Yeah.
But you got to think now going to year 3, they're going to want to open it up for Bo a little bit.
Right. But my point is from Dom's comment here, can Bo Nix win with a team that is not like an elite team around him? Well, yes, we've seen him do that already, and it's definitely possible. But Dom, leave a comment down below if you don't mind, and anyone else in the chat, if this is kind of what your interpretation of this is your comment, can Bo elevate lesser than players at this stage in his career and make them better than they are? And I'm saying yes to certain guys and no to other guys. So for example, Troy Franklin and Bo Nix have like a almost like a telepathic connection in terms of how they work. Bo Nix knows where he wants him to go, and Troy knows where he needs to be. And if a defender messes him up, then that's not a Troy Franklin issue per se. That's like a defensive problem.
Yeah.
But Bo Nix, the reason why he's got that connection to Troy is they've built up that rapport. Yep. Pat Bryant is getting to that point as well.
It's called reps.
It takes time. Yeah, exactly.
And Courtland Sutton has that same kind of general MO. Now, Sean Payton came out in a presser in the offseason and made a comment about our wide receivers. And I think this is one of the big reasons why our wide receivers coach got fired. Number one, when passes are thrown and the wide receiver goes to catch the ball, your thumbs need to be right here. As in, they need to be in the way of the ball. What we were seeing from our Broncos wide receivers is they were trying to catch like this, but the thumbs weren't there. They weren't together. They weren't there to stop the ball. and you ended up seeing a lot of balls going through the hands of the wide receivers. And the long and the short of it is that's a coaching problem, not a wide receiver problem. So I
Right.
do think we're going to start seeing some improved wide receiver play from Troy Franklin, from Pat Bryant, from Lil Jordan Humphrey, because the coaching is thumbs together and you won't miss it. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my general thought process is Bo is good enough to elevate an average team overall because he's got that killer instinct. I'm not going to lose this game. Like, so as a team, you know that you're always in it with Bo Nix as your quarterback. And
Right.
that, by the way, that is a huge feat in and of itself. Most teams don't have that.
Bo showed some clutch factor last season.
So
Yeah.
he's got that Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, like last minute drive thing to him, right? And that's undeniable at this point. Now the question is, can he take an average player and elevate him to above average, or an above average player and make him elite? We're not there yet.
Ask Julian Edelman if that's possible.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys do now? I know we're going to talk about like 2 free agent signings we didn't like. Do you guys even have free agents you didn't like signed? Like,
yes, but they were internal guys.
Like, but I'm even looking at Nav. Like, did you even sign guys you didn't like? So I must be the only one then. Great, awesome. Because I'm sure
I have guys that I wanted us to let walk, and we brought them back instead.
Because I was thinking about the Raiders. I'm like, dude, everybody they brought in, it's like, I mean,
they're all starters. Everyone.
Pretty much, yeah, because they're just going to build up depth behind them and then sprinkle in rookies.
3 of them are Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
so, can I just go back to Richie on your side of things? The thing about it is, what an offensive-minded coach or offensive coordinator loves is when the defense is dominant. Because that changes the whole mindset. Look at how Kubiak played calls or played called plays in the Super Bowl. I'm good with 3 because I know that they can't do shit to us on defense.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a whole nother level of, and you think about it, we got Linderbaum on offense. In reality, I mean, we got Naylor as a wide receiver, which is unproven because he's behind one of the best tandems in the league in Minnesota, right? We did get that guy. I don't hate it at all. But what I'm saying is we did everything on defense, which makes an offensive coordinator, gives him more options. When your defense is dominant, it gives them options on what decisions you make throughout a game. 3 is good enough if you don't think the other team can score on you. You know, and I'll give you more credit, Richie, than you give to your own team. That defense, at least the backside for sure, is dominant.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. But
I think somebody found a chink in their armor, like in the last 5 games or something.
Yeah.
That's
went over the middle a lot.
They did. Do you know what it was, though? What they were doing is they were picking on Stranad.
Yeah.
And they were picking on
one of your favorites.
No, they weren't picking on they weren't picking on Singleton.
No, I meant in the secondary. The other white boy.
No, they weren't picking on Moss at all, actually.
They were just, but that's who they were throwing to because that's where they were going.
Well, they tried to pick on him, but the thing is that he kept on breaking up the passes because his stats show that he did. Yeah. What they did end up doing, though, was they were throwing to the other linebacker's side, whether it be Stranad or Turner or Corinne Reed or the guys that were still learning the linebacker position. because there's complexities to it. So they weren't able to read all the stuff to get to the positions they needed to get to fast enough. And I mean, that's a thing. Sternat is they're picking on the linebacker for sure. But then what they would do is they would then throw slightly deeper at Moss, who was thinking that the linebacker was going to cover the guy that was kind of coming back towards him, and they were relying on communication mismatches and miscommunications between the handoff between the middle linebacker and the cornerback. Pat Surtain is just smart enough and good enough to be like, dude, I don't care. Riley, he's just
By the way, what you just brought up something that just made me laugh. Surtain and Waddle. I don't know if anybody knows, but Waddle put out that thing. Was it? I don't know if it was last year or whatever. He's like, I would beat Surtain's ass or whatever. And now they're on the same team. But he was like,
we're about to find out in preseason, aren't we?
Right, or in training camp, I guess.
But I'm telling you right now, Surtain's biggest weakness is inside crossers. Because Surtain is a bigger dude.
Yeah.
He's got speed, but he has good makeup speed, not straight line speed.
Right.
And where he gets his ass handed to him, and it's a known fact, at least I'm willing to admit it, most other Broncos country isn't, is when you cross in front of him, he actually struggles with those styles of routes because he needs to anticipate where that's going to go. And if there's jitteriness or kind of that quick kind of joystick style speed, he's just too big of a dude to move that quickly and twitch that quick.
I think he just doesn't like giving up the number one. If a slot comes across in front of him, he doesn't like giving it up right away.
Yeah.
He doesn't like getting burnt deep.
No.
That type of stuff.
No, because I'm willing to get, and by the way, that's his father's coaching. Make no mistake about it. Like, make no mistake. Like, you keep the dude in front of you. If you give up 5 yards, that's better than giving up 50.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, and that's his father's coaching for sure. Like,
sure enough.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So those are my two favorite, Little Jordan Humphrey, Jaquan McMillan, in terms of pickups. I'm going to give an honorable mention to Waddle. However, I am concerned that to your point, you made a comment about comp picks and the model and all that kind of stuff. In order to have that comp pick model work for your team, you need to have a persistent and through line of constant talent that you're developing internally that can then fill in for the starting talent that you allow walk. The Broncos are like that close to being in that position where they can actually start operating on a comp pick model. The problem is at key positions in key spots throughout their roster, they have made mistakes and they have not done what they need to do to get themselves there. And the problem I have with wide receiver is they have not drafted an elite wide receiver that has shown out for them based on maybe coaching or otherwise. And what the Broncos did this offseason was they made two calculated risks, and we will see how it plays out. Number one, a new wide receivers coach is going to elevate Troy Franklin to being an elite wide receiver and fill the gap of that delta between very good and excellent, and take Pat Bryant from being in the realm of pretty good to very good or excellent in one season.
I think Waddle elevates all those receivers just being in that room.
He will try, but the problem is that the other two guys, so Waddle and Troy Franklin are much closer in terms of style than say Pat Bryant and Waddle are.
Right.
And so the point is that the Broncos are relying on a change in wide receiver coaching to elevate to raise the waterline basically of the room. And if you don't get that as a Denver Broncos team, you have really shot yourself in the foot, because you could have otherwise got a rookie that could have come in for less capital than Waddle and probably got you the same production. That's what I'm saying. And so the this is the true test. This is the risk that the Broncos took. I'm not saying I
It's a
hate
good
it.
risk. It's a good
I'm not
risk.
saying I hate it, and I'm not saying I love it. I'm saying I'm kind of neutral on it overall. But the one thing I will say that I think that having a veteran wide receiver who has averaged like 11 to 1200 yards a season with a trash quarterback like Tua, I think that having Waddle come in with Bo Nix, Sean Payton, and now um, Davis, our OC, I think that that's gonna help our team a lot.
I just see like 3 wide receiver sets, like having like say Sutton, Waddle, and like Mims out there. Like, come on, give me a break.
No, do you know what's going to be more dangerous?
No, don't even say Troy Franklin.
Troy.
No.
That's not going to be easy
Mims
at all
speed,
to deal with.
dude. Sutton's route running, and then just Waddle's freaking just. He's just gonna he's gonna take that attention to that number one. I mean, sure,
Actually,
I guess you can throw.
Here's the other one. Do you know what's going to be even worse? Is here's the 3 combo that no one's even thinking about, and this is the one that's going to be this is going to be the worst combination. Waddle as the Z, Waddle as the Z, Sutton as the X, and little Jordan Humphrey as the slot.
Well, yeah,
and the reason why that's dangerous is he's the size of a tight end with the speed of a slower wide receiver, but that doesn't matter because he's going to have to. Because
be a dog, dude.
He's just too big.
Yeah,
and
dude,
that's the combination.
I do not envy nickel cornerbacks or they have to cover just. I mean, yes, some tight ends are slow, but they're dude. I don't envy nickel cornerbacks.
Ask the Patriots. Was Rob Gronkowski fast?
No.
Right.
But he was just a freaking beast. He was a freak everywhere else, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Never dropped the football.
No, he didn't. But see, Lil Jordan Humphrey has some drop issues, but I think that's partially coaching. But the thing is that Lil Jordan Humphrey has got a mental challenge, which I think he can overcome with better coaching at the wide receiver. And I think that's a big deal. And that's what I'm saying is that bringing in a guy like Lil Jordan Humphrey on a vet minimum deal to play that dirty role as a slot receiver plus blocker plus, like I too many people are not looking at that as being a steal in some regard for the Denver Broncos. And I think
an arsenal of I look at your wide receiver room as like arrows, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have many different heads to put on your arrow.
Yes.
Right. Like it's a good thing to have because.
And then Marvin Mims is a quick slot speed / gadget guy, if you will. Right.
You need somebody to take off the top.
Yeah.
And I think Franklin can do that. Waddle can do that. And so can Mims. Those guys will take the tops off defenses in different ways, which is
Mims low key killed people last year in speed.
Dude. And he is like, I don't feel like he gets enough attention, but that's just whatever. That's just me.
Yes, but I think Davis Webb is going to change that. I think Davis Webb is going to start putting in some packages that are more college nuanced in terms of stealing kind of the movement from kind of like the Davis Webb has some college dog in him a little bit in terms of how the college game is run. And I think he's going to steal a little bit more from that, but then merge it with Sean Payton's style of offense, which I think is going to really mesh well for the team. But I am going to say this. Broncos country, you need to give a little bit of a runway on the offense because Sean Payton is relinquishing play calling. But the problem is that he's doing it a year or two earlier than he wanted to do it. So there's going to be a little bit of a tug of war occurring within the offensive play calling side of things. And we're going to need to allow, I'm using that word intentionally, for some ebbs and flows as this changeover occurs this season.
I think we very well could see all 4 teams have different, I don't think drastically for the Chiefs or Broncos, but different offensive schemes going into 26.
Mhm.
I agree.
Because the Chiefs, they brought back Eric Bieniemy, and it's looking like the signs are pointing that Mahomes isn't going to be starting this season. That's what
Nope.
I'm getting. That's what I'm getting from it. It looks like Fields is going to be
Well, shit.
trying to keep them afloat until Mahomes can get back.
Well, shit. They dealt McDuffie and Watson.
Right.
I mean
Right.
those are two massive freaking dudes.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Yes, like
That's
massive losses
massive.
on the, and then you have to look at their cap space as well. Like they didn't have the money to pay them, or maybe they
No.
weren't willing to.
But that's a massive loss.
But if anything, I hate saying this. I have trust in their GM Veach.
He's good. He's
Yeah,
very good.
They were like redlining for a long time. And
I mean, they're
last
grabbing
season-
people like Pacheco. Nobody knows who that dude is. Nobody knows who. You know what I mean?
right.
It's crazy.
Dude, Pacheco's going to be now with Gibbs in Detroit, which is crazy. And then, okay, I know I'm getting off subject, but there's a team that can be an absolute beast next year, and that's the freaking Texans, man. And I hate to say it because they've had my team's number
In the
4.
AFC, yes, but the Rams are my pick to win the Super Bowl next
Oh,
year.
same. And somebody in this chat said they're too old, and I'm like, dude, I don't know, man, because Seattle screwed themselves for a repeat.
The Rams coach, Sean McVay, is like, I don't think he gets enough credit
No,
for how good of a coach he actually is. I mean,
Yeah.
like a lot of people like the McVay tree or whatever the case may. I don't think McVay himself, like just him,
he doesn't.
Gets
He's not
enough-
old enough for.
Well,
a
he's a
tree.
Shanahan disciple, and then
yeah, he's a
got his
sapling.
own.
I get that.
Yeah,
but-
and then he's got his. So they decided to plant him, and now they're just taking stuff off of him
Yeah,
instead of
right.
taking. It's crazy, but he's also paired with another GM, Snead. I think it's Les Snead, and
Yeah, less than
yeah, he's another freaking dog for a GM.
he's not a DaCosta that like does stupid shit.
Dude. Yeah. He's not a Joe Ortiz
gutted.
who's off the.
He was
DeCosta
gutted.
tree.
He was
I'm
gutted over it. He was gutted.
Yeah, dude, it's all BS, man.
He was
I mean,
gutted, bro.
So,
did I
Nav,
mention? Oh yeah, I did mention. Go ahead.
sorry, Nav. Let's quickly veer back. What are your 2 worst free agent retentions and/or signings?
Worst? Don't have one.
Right, that's just like.
I really don't. One of them. So, but not a free agent because Tyree is actually still a rookie on a rookie contract. It'd be stupid not to take Tyree Wilson to take.
He's
Tyree.
going into his last year, right?
He'd be coming into his last year.
Okay.
Because he was a first round pick. So, I really don't have it at all because Cap was gone.
Smart.
We would have re-signed him. I would have said yes. Okay, now there is kind of one. I think Putnam. I think we re-signed him for a year, and he was the dude that was just kind of thrown in to be a center because nobody could play center for whatever reason after JPJ got hurt. So I think so. I don't have 2 worst. I Putnam. Okay, I think that'll be something we just kind of pay him and shoot him out the door after Linderbaum was traded to us, so or actually signed to us. But my 2 best re-signings is pretty easy for me, especially based on a 3-4, which they've been very clear that's what they're going to run. So my 2 best, Eric Stokes needed to happen, no question.
Yeah, you were calling that for a while.
That had to happen. I would have been pissed if that did not happen. That dude was the shining side of the backside of that defense.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't stop anything else up in front of him. And then Malcolm Kuntz, I think that 1 year deal for him, because he's going to be moving into a position as outside linebacker, which he doesn't have to rely on get off anymore. He can be an edge rusher from the linebacker. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different dynamic. And so you have Max as the edge, basically, on a 3-4. You have Malcolm, Nakobe Dean, and Quay Walker in the middle.
And you also got Kwity Paye, right?
And Kwity Paye. Which is probably size-wise, I think he's going to end up what would be traditionally called a nose tackle.
So so this is, you guys will have, I don't want to say all teams do this, but you're going to be running, I'm not going to say but a 3-4, you're going to be running a hybrid scheme, and you'll have your NASCAR package, which will probably be Crosby, Kuntz, and Paye. That will be your NASCAR package, and that's
third down deal. We're going to get them. Right,
and so that was ours. It was Mac, Tooley, and Odafe, and then so Odafe got that $100 million worth of Commanders, which is absolutely freaking crazy.
That's crazy.
I
mean, and to be honest with you, the two best pickups we got in free agency was Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker. I mean, there's no question that's probably the best on the free agency.
They're probably going to fill those in with some rookies, probably through the draft.
But I firmly believe that an offensive coordinator goes, hey, the best offense is a great defense. Because Kubiak proved that in the Super Bowl. He was willing to take 3 because he knew the defense was dominant. So I'm pretty sure he's in that same mindset.
The Raiders almost have a projected starting lineup right now, Dom.
Oh, no. The starting lineup, healthy, is actually a good starting lineup.
Yeah. They just need to build depth, like the Chargers need to build.
No, I disagree. The Raiders have some
I said
guys.
Good. I didn't say great. I said good.
No. I didn't disagree with you. I'm just saying that I think that the Raiders have the Raiders cut the players that Pete Carroll was keeping around that made them bad.
Yes.
Because Pete Carroll has this old school mentality of some of these idiot coaches for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Where if you are if you're a young guy, then you can't play the offensive line position because you just don't know enough, and therefore you need a couple years. Now sit down, ride the pine and let us know when you're ready, kind of thing.
Right.
Whereas most other teams in today's NFL try to identify guys that are like they jump up quickly when they join the team in preseason and all that sort of stuff, and they throw them in to give them the reps right away to get them immediately up to speed and then elevate their level of play. So
I want to answer this.
Oh yeah.
And so Nav, I forget the guy's name, and you're gonna know this off the top of your head. You have a guard on your team that was a international player.
Yes.
He was an animal in preseason, but needs that growth curve because he's pretty new to football. What's that guy's name?
What was his name again? That wasn't
Lockie Tassi.
Oh,
Lockie Tassi.
Okay.
So Dom, that's exactly who it is. That's Lockie Tassi. See, he's the rugby player, right? The guy that converted over, came in, and
and he was absolutely mauling people because it was kind of C player, hit player. He just didn't know scheme wise how to go, who else to go get. So in the preseason game that he played in, he was like brutalizing everyone. he just like smashed the first guy. Just like smash, smash, smash. And then you go brutalize the next guy. It was unreal. So
Right.
he's not listed. He's not necessarily listed as a guard. So, I mean, he's listed as a practice squad player. So
That's a mistake in my opinion, but that's fine.
No, but that's what he's listed.
Yeah.
He's listed as a guard. But the dude, I mean, they in the offseason last year, they actually had him as a fullback at one point. But the thing is, you gotta when you're already freaking out of it, let's put all those rookies we just drafted, let's put them in there and let them get some time. That's my biggest bitch about the Raiders last year. You know, when you get to a certain point, you need to put these youngsters in there and let them get some playing time.
I want to see Tossie on the one side, and I want to see Rodgers on the other.
I'd like to see Rodgers on the. Well, you won't have both in that case, because I think Rodgers has kind of cemented himself in the last 4 games that he's probably going to be a good right tackle. But there's DJ Glaze that's still there too. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. So
Glaze I see as a good backup.
And that's crazy because that dude is actually freaking supposed to be better than what he is. So I
mean, maybe with some different coaching, he might be. You never know.
No, he may be. He's supposed to be way better than that. He was drafted way better. So, so I see what you're saying, but damn, there's a lot of pieces out there. And Lucky Tossie can do a lot of different things. Just same thing with JJ Pegues. He's another one.
But this is actually what my point is, though, right? Is that you have a running back who should by rights be in the conversation as like offensive player of the year kind of thing. Like he has got that kind of potential.
Getting hit behind the line of scrimmage every time he touches the ball.
Correct. But that's what I'm saying is that with a Lucky Tossie, who is very similar, in my opinion, to like a guy like Quinn Miners on my team, who's kind of that like aggressive guard style player, that old school, like smash mouth, like push you off the ball. Plus you got JPJ, who's another guy who's an interesting player. So maybe it goes like Tossie, Linderbaum, and then you got JPJ or some variation of it.
Unfortunately, guys, front offices do not trust these international prospects like you guys think they do.
No, I know they don't, but they should.
Right.
Like the point is that what I saw from Lucky Tossie in the games that he played in, it reminded me of Quinn Miners when I saw him in his rookie year. And what the Broncos did with Quinn Miners is they didn't back away from him. They pushed him and then coached him and then gave him set things that they wanted him to work on every offseason thereafter. And he's deemed one of the best guards in football right now as a result of that approach.
You know,
and the Raiders would be stupid to not do something like that with Lucky Tossie, who's clearly got the gifts to do it.
Well, to be honest with you, I have to disagree with you on that. Because to be honest with you, the dude's so athletic. I think you'd be better suited on a defense, which he is proven he can do that too.
I think these international guys shouldn't be. Look, so Lucky Tossie, there's 2 guys, right, for the Raiders right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can only have one that doesn't count against your
So
number.
I think every team gets their international guy, right?
East is the other one.
They get one. And this is my thing, because it's almost like 95, 98% chance you're not making the 53. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're going to be on the practice squad or whatever. And they're just going to hang them out there because nobody wants to put their reputation on the line to have these guys as actual starters. This is what I think that team should do. The Raiders have Lucky Tossie. What they should do is loan him to a UFL team. You loan him like they do in soccer clubs. You loan him to a UFL team, and he plays with a UFL team for their season, and you get like 1 or 2 seasons under his belt, and then they go, okay, dude, if he's ready to rock and roll, he's coming back to the 53 or whatever in like a season or 2.
Because The Rock and Dana White have made it very clear that that's what that league is for.
It should.
Yeah.
That's what it should be for. Like it's almost this league needs a G League, man.
Yeah.
The NFL needs because
that is the G League. It's the G League. No kidding. I mean, USFL, completely different rules, way off the mark. Not even easy to. I mean, the penalties were different. Hell, what was the other one? World League, completely different, and all this stuff. But what the UFL is trying to do is try to be as closely matched with the NFL.
Yeah,
and I feel like the NFL should throw them a bone, man, because this is only going to help the league, and it's just going to make the play even that much better.
Yeah, it's farm teams, man. Right. Like in baseball.
But what we're seeing right now, we're not seeing that. We're seeing cast-offs who are getting, and it's kind of a shame. It's like, how about these guys who are going to sit on the practice squad, or and maybe never get shot? How about every team loans a couple out to the UFL?
Do you know who fits that mold?
Who?
The Broncos actually brought in a dude who was very similar to that. His name is Tillman.
Yeah.
So Tillman was a dude that went over to one of these other leagues. I think it's like the USFL or something like that. Like, remember it lasted for like a year kind of thing, and now it's gone. But
no XFL.
No, he was not XFL. He was USFL.
USFL was around for a while, but that was back when we were kids, man. That was
then I don't. What was the one league that lasted for like a year?
There's been a bunch of these leagues, but
either way, he came from the league that lasted that one season, right? It had the one season, and then they could never make a go of it. But Dondre Tillman was a dude that never got drafted. He was a star. Sorry, what was the was it the Alabama or Birmingham
Stallions
or something?
Yeah,
he played for them for 2 seasons.
Their head coach is like the winningest freaking quarterback. What's his name?
Isn't he a Gruden? Isn't he a Jay Gruden? Jay Gruden, I think.
I'm not sure.
But either way, the point is that Dondre Tillman.
What the heck's his name?
Came from that league. He played 2 seasons in there's like the Birmingham something or other. I can't remember what the team's name was.
Birmingham Stallions.
Killed it. Like literally was like one of their star players. And then the Broncos brought him in, and he has been an absolute
it's the UFL right now.
Yeah, UFL. Sorry, that's what it is. So he was a star for them. The Broncos brought him in, and he's not an upper tier player in the NFL, but he's definitely in the middle of the road in terms of pass rushers, and has had tremendous production. Now, the Broncos have also led the league in sacks, so he's got a lot of players around him that are doing really well. So let's let's put that aside. But he has been in that middle section of the Broncos roster in terms of production, which, by the way, league-wide puts you in a pretty solid tier, right? Sure. In terms of actual production on the defensive side of the ball.
Absolutely.
Yeah, AJ McCarron, that's their guy. That's their head coach.
I think Richie, what you were alluding to was the XFL that only lasted a short.
Yeah, that was like 1 season, 1.5 seasons, and that was the crazy rules, crazy.
Yeah,
there was also arena football that didn't last long.
Yes.
No, actually, arena football was around for a while, but it just wasn't big.
But I think XFL went down, and then when The Rock bought the UFL thing. You know what I mean? I think The Rock actually is like the CEO of the whole thing.
Okay, so what's going on right now? UFL.
I think he absorbed that as well.
Yeah, and then remember, we also had NFL Europe for a while too. That was kind of
called the World League. Remember?
Yeah.
World League.
So I still agree. I think look, every team should loan a player, and it would be cool. Like
I want practice squad guys, like you're saying. I want the NFL to just own it and say, I agree with you 100%. I want the practice squad to have the ability to double dip.
Yes.
And allow themselves to go out to these other leagues when the NFL is not in play, and to go ahead and get that extra experience.
Yeah.
Because to your point, DZ, the only thing that's going to do is elevate the quality of play at the NFL.
Everything.
Like insane.
Semi-pro.
Yeah.
I mean, Major League Baseball's been doing this since the inception of Major League Baseball.
Yep. Soccer around the world, except for the United States.
Yes, they draft out of college. Do not get me wrong. But they also send players, and a lot of times the draft picks they send to a semi-pro, AAA affiliate.
Yes.
That's attached to their team.
Yes.
And to get them some playing time, to get them introduced to the speed of Major League Baseball.
Right.
So why would it be any different for the NFL? DZ, great take on that.
But it would have to be less time. I was thinking like you'd loan them for multiple years, but we know that football you don't have a long lifespan, right? It'd be like a 1 year maybe and see how it goes.
How about this? We can call you up whenever we need you. Or we can call you up whenever we need you. We can call you up, just like they do with pitchers in major leagues.
The thing is those leagues go on different times, so it'd be hard. But I thought it would always be really cool. You got Birmingham Stallions, and one guy, he's got like on the back of his helmet, he's got that Raiders logo. Like he's a rep for the Raiders, and we're gonna watch his growth. Like that would just make more sense. And maybe you could put more guys because the league has talked about expanding the season right to 18, expanding the rosters, adding an extra bye week.
Actually talking about adding 4 more teams.
4 more teams, and then you want to get rid of preseason. So when you get rid of preseason, you're getting rid of development. So,
sorry, DZ, do you know what position would benefit the most from that?
From going to another league?
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's what I'm seeing right away is probably quarterback.
Correct. It's the quarterback position, because right now the NFL has a major problem.
Oh, huge.
A major problem.
You can just look at all the draft classes and what they've done. They're bouncing all over the place, and everybody thinks they suck, which I don't think every one of these guys sucks. I just think they've been thrown into such shitty situations. Right. You know what I mean? And then you're getting drafted, you go to like a team, and then the head coach is on the hot seat, right? The GM is like been bent over.
Gotta play him now.
Yeah, gotta play this guy. Yeah. So, but then we do have like what Sam Darnold had happened, and then before Geno went to the Raiders and did all that BS, he was on the rise.
He was having a Sam Darnold trajectory.
Yes. Yep. Bingo.
Yep.
And now he's going to go back to the Jets and see if he can lift that trash franchise up and get them going.
Hey, the crazy part is Tua and Penix in the same team, 2 lefties, both lefties.
And then Kyle Murray going up to the Minnesota. Yeah, there's some weird stuff.
This offseason's been crazy.
Every northern city needs a little Carney guy.
And then I think Ed was in the chat. I think Ed in the chat earlier said that Flacco is actually in Vegas right now visiting with the Raiders.
I don't doubt that at all.
That would be a solid.
Russell Wilson has also been linked to the Raiders as well.
Oh no!
I like Flacco a little more in that room, especially with he's almost similar like size to Mendoza. He's like they're almost. It's just like Mendoza 20 years later, essentially. So
yeah.
Look, I mean, the funny part is Kubiak has fired freaking Geno twice now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be clear about that.
Well, the thing is with Russell Wilson compared to Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson's actually a slightly better comp for Mendoza than Flacco is.
I'm talking about like how they play and size.
I think you're way off on that. Mendoza's a big dude.
He's
He's
6'5".
220.
So is
No.
Flacco.
He's a big guy, but he's got more mobility. The problem is that Mendoza, in some of his games that I've seen him in at least, he's a pocket first guy, but then when needed, leverages mobility.
Yes.
Joe Flacco was more
He
less
played in that
mobile.
pure. Yeah,
he was a
played
pure
in the,
pocket. He was a pure pocket guy.
That was
Whereas,
his point.
But that's
so you
the
need
point.
Go
That's
ahead.
the point I'm trying to make. If Mendoza needs anything, he needs a pocket passer to make him understand the difference in speed.
I agree. I think that's
as
fair.
far as a passer, because Mendoza's going to do Mendoza stuff like when he decides to run, it's going to be an organic thing. He's not going to have design runs. You know what I mean? Hardly ever, probably. You know, so I disagree with you on Wilson because I don't think that's the right type of dude.
Well,
Flacco's
ideally, your best guy would have been someone like
Derek Carr,
Mariota, or Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Ideally, it would be Derek Carr or Mariota.
Yes, and Derek Carr. The thing about it is he bleeds silver and black.
Yeah,
that would be. Not only would that be badass for Mendoza, it'd be badass for the nation because 80% of the nation would be like, as long as he's not our starter and he's freaking doing his thing, you know, and that type of stuff, and just being a mentor and all that.
Yeah,
man, that would be huge.
Carr's time in in New Orleans is like certain stages. Like teams have these places where players just go to die, and that's been the Saints for a while.
Carr did well with the Saints.
It doesn't matter. It's what's in that organization.
Yes,
what's going on?
yes.
They've been negative cap for like a decade now.
Yes,
the Saints are doing him dirty at this point because they own his rights. He already announced his retirement. They own his rights, and they just won't let it go.
I'm sure the Raiders give up but
the Saints did the same thing with Sean Payton.
They did.
Yep. They did the exact same thing with Sean Payton, and
but Payton gave them a little bit of a black eye. Let's be honest.
Well, that's true.
Sure.
He did punch him in the mouth, though. On that one. But
hey,
Richie, I know we're getting close to time.
Yeah.
But if I can, may I add one thing?
Go for it.
A question for all three of us, and I'd like to start with you, Richie. NFL top 2 winners in the offseason so far, and the top 2 losers in the NFL so far.
It's kind of hard, but I do have some that are winners.
Commanders are one of the winners.
They did spend a lot. Yeah,
I think the Commanders. By the way, friend of the show, Corey from On the Warpath. If you have not checked out that podcast, I highly recommend it. Corey has been a longtime friend of mine. He and I chat on the regular. He is a fantastic Commanders content creator. Go and check him out on his channel there. I think the Commanders definitely are one of the winners for sure of the offseason.
Yeah, I could see.
And there's a few others that kind of.
I like what the Carolina Panthers have done.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably say one of the losers of the offseason was the Seahawks.
Ooh, yeah.
I think that they in my opinion, what the Seahawks have done is they made the same mistake that the Denver Broncos made after winning Super Bowl 50.
Yep.
And I'm going to go on record and say that I think that they are going to slide pretty hard this season as a result of the moves that they have made. And the reason why I say that is too many teams undervalue the need and requirement for veteran and winning culture to remain in the building. And having a guy like Walker who wins the Super Bowl MVP, and by the way, rightfully so. Okay,
Yeah.
like it's like 100%. I think it's one of those things where it is a really dumb move to just like, okay, go to another team.
Now we got to face that guy twice a year. Great.
I know, but the thing is that too many teams just take for granted the guys that churn through and make them winners, and they don't retain them for locker room presence to ensure that the rest of the room plays to a certain standard.
Well, we also got
that's a problem.
We also got to think that what is Seattle doing offensively now that they lost Kubiak? Are they going to be running like? Is that a Kubiak disciple now, or is he switching it up? But yeah, right. I agree. Like I felt like they lost way too much, and it's just like. But we saw like with the Chiefs, they never seem to have lost that much when they were, this dynasty run that they were on. They seem to keep retaining guys and staying at that high level. And then last year, due to injuries and age and whatnot, they just fell off a cliff.
Well, and you got to think about it. So the offensive coordinator was taken from the Seahawks, Kubiak, right?
Yep.
They got rid of Kenneth Walker, who was the Super Bowl MVP, right? And now you're kind of like, okay, and
they've lost other guys too. I just don't have the top of my head. I know they retained
Rick Dennison and a bunch of their coaches to the Raiders, but it's like, and their head coach is a defensive mind. He's not an offensive coordinator type.
McDonald. Yeah.
So that's a huge loss.
I think there's a lot of teams that you could say that are kind of winners of the free agency. I would throw actually both your guys' teams in there. I think the Broncos didn't lose anybody other than really John Franklin Myers. They've got to try to replicate that with him. Them bringing over Waddle, like that's pretty damn solid, man. And then the Raiders, the talent, the type of players that they've brought in.
Young for the most part.
Actually, that trade falling through and still retaining Max is huge.
Huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking. You're like, oh shit.
Eric Stokes, I think, was a big re-sign too.
Let's see what the thing is grabbing it. Okay, and then like I said, the Commanders. I didn't like the Commanders' contract that they paid Odafe. They paid him like $100 million.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, I think they're banking on he's got a really cool build, like stature-wise, but he did kind of like flourish with Jesse Minter and being on NASCAR packages with Mac and Thule. So you would think that the Commanders know that and that they pair him up with some other good edges wherever they play, Maryland, DC, Virginia, wherever it is now. But and then look, free agency really isn't over, but we know, to be honest with you, this wasn't a good free agency class from top to bottom. There were some guys at the top that got poached really early. Your team got some of them. But there is going to be a second wave and a third wave. We're still going to have June 1st cuts. So
sure.
We'll see,
So who's your losers? I didn't catch that.
That's kind of tough to think right off the bat. Richie mentioned the Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
That's a good one. I don't want to throw my team in there, but they're definitely not as well off as they should be, roster wise.
Oh, I got another one for the losers. Miami.
Oh yeah, but they're tearing that thing to the studs.
They're intentionally losing, though.
Yeah.
Hey, that was not a stipulation.
I know.
Sure.
I agree. That would be a huge lose, no question.
I like that I don't know if the Steelers are winners per se, but I like the fact that they got Michael Pittman to pair with DK Metcalf up there. Who their quarterback's going to be, I have no clue.
Right.
If it's Aaron running it back for 1 year.
Still don't know.
Yeah. To the Patriots, I thought they made some signings.
They made some signings that were halfway decent.
Yeah.
They were decent, but
And then, like I said, look, I have to respect what the Texans did for CJ Stroud. He's had such a rough time with their offensive line, and they just said, okay, let's rebuild the whole damn thing in this offseason. And I can only see that benefiting him.
And I don't think they're done yet. I think
you know what my prediction is?
And they got Montgomery for him. What's that?
I believe that the Houston Texans have miscalculated what they've done with the offensive line.
This season or previous? What are you talking?
This offseason. I believe that what they've done. So the problem that you end up with as a team is when you don't build up your team organically, like the right way.
Yeah.
You end up with the issue that the Philadelphia Eagles ran into, where you try to just bring in the names that matter.
Yeah.
As opposed to building on a team and culture so that the collective group kind of rises up together.
I think, Richie,
I think that's a problem.
No, I agree. But their window is what probably the Broncos view their window. They feel like they're right there as well. You know what I mean? That's why they brought back Danielle Hunter for that one year, $40 million deal, because they feel like they're right there. And they're like, let's just get an O-line. That was our weakness. And I can't hate them on that. But
I don't hate them. I'm just simply saying that
it is a can down the road.
Well, one, they're kicking the can down the road, but then it is an A and B moment.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where they're gonna either hit a home run and all of them are gonna work out kind of thing, or they're gonna end up with the Mekhi Becton scenario. Sorry, buddy, but I had to throw it out there.
And I have 2 players.
I had to throw it out there, but
that's fine.
But I think that's a fair. I think it's a fair comp, right? Which is you have a guy that looked really good on one team, you bring him into another, and showed that he wasn't the guy that you thought he was on that other team.
I mean, to be fair,
it was more of a collective effort.
To be fair, when the tackles went down, it really reared its ugly head with Mekhi Becton. But this is all going to fall on CJ Stroud's shoulders, fortunately and unfortunately, with them. But that's how I view what they did, and I'm kind of envious on their approach right now, because this is what you do for your quarterbacks.
Did you ever say your other loser yet? You said one.
I don't know. Nav, I know your
Seahawks was one.
And he said Miami as well.
Okay, Miami. Yeah. But now we also have to understand that Miami is pretty obvious what they're trying to do. So, so is it on me now?
Yeah, well, just throw yours 2 out, and then I gotta get over my players.
Okay, so biggest wins in free agency, they got a lot with doing less, and they give a shit less about draft picks. That would be the Rams.
Yeah.
They solved
them picks.
They solved their entire problem on their defense.
It's wild.
Cost them a Super Bowl, bro. They solved their entire problem. So that brings me to the Chiefs as one of my losers. Because I'll tell you what'd you do other than that? Kenneth Walker, a running back. Come on. Running backs are not that level of expensive anymore. You know what I mean? I don't care if he's a Super Bowl MVP or not. He was a Super Bowl MVP because the defense he played against could not stop the run.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Good job. And they got rid of Pacheco. So it's like Look, dude. So here's the other. I think the Raiders are way better now. After free agency.
Unfortunately, I agree.
The difference between where they were and where they are now is probably the best in the NFL with the moves that were made. With Linderbaum and the 2 linebackers, you know what I mean? Stokes being re-signed, Malcolm being re-signed, and then Max coming back in the building. That's a whole nother conversation.
Well, Max is a different conversation.
But I'm with you. But I just said in the offseason, who's the winners, who's the losers.
Right.
So,
my only pushback on the Raiders, in terms of you including them in like the biggest winners, is there is an X factor that is an external element here that is not like the reason I didn't include the Raiders. In theory, the Raiders should be within the winners of free agency and the offseason. The reason I don't include the Raiders is because I've been through this too many times as a Broncos fan, so I'm kind of doing it for you, even though you won't do it for yourself. So I'm trying to help you, which is
no. Don't talk for me.
No.
You don't talk for me.
No. I'm simply just saying that I've seen my team do certain things that in theory should do what you want them to do.
I'm talking about theory. I'm talking about theory.
I am.
At all. Well, I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about what's been done.
I am too. And my point is this. You have several new coaches. And by several, I mean most.
Yeah.
I'm not talking Super Bowl. I'm just saying we're way better now than we were before the offseason started.
No, sorry. In theory, you should be better for sure, and I 100%
exactly
agree
what
with
that
you.
is.
But the point is that when you have an established culture within a team, you already have a foundational element that you can then stack on top of, right? So, for example, the Rams could not agree with you more.
That's my number one. That's the best winners in the offseason.
The Rams have an absolute steady culture at both GM and head coach who are not going anywhere, like in the foreseeable future, and
Let's not make this drawn out thing, Richie.
No, but it's not drawn out at all. My point is that you have coaches that you don't know how certain players are going to mesh with them, and you could have certain coaches that won't pan out, and you might have certain players that don't pan out, depending on how things work out. So in theory, the Raiders should be much improved based on what you've done. We just don't know how those players are going to mesh with what the coaches have. That's all.
Look, that's not a question. That's not even a question. I get that. Understand 100%. Now, next biggest loser. Did I say the Chiefs already?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's my second loser. They really, it looks like Mahomes is not going to be the day one starter.
They're a confusing team to read right now.
So
How
do you just get rid of your entire back end?
Look, I feel like they're retooling, like they're loading up for like a run in like another year or two. That's what it's looking like to me. They're recouping draft capital. They're just this whole thing, like Travis Kelce coming out. Yeah, man, I'm gonna run it back. I didn't like the way last season ended. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. You're not gonna be around when I don't think he's gonna be around when they turn this thing back around and try to contend again.
And oh, by the way, their offensive line's not that good at all. Just not that good.
Money Hoops, who are you, buddy? Mon the Hoops, 3-14. Are you talking about the Raiders? Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
I could not agree more.
I don't think so either. So I think somebody else lost, even though I said the Chiefs twice, because to be honest with you, giving up your back end like that, that's you don't just get a freaking McDuffie out of the draft and expect it to happen. You know what I mean? You just don't.
No.
You know, McDuffie was a freaking badass out there.
You normally bring in a McDuffie to then get rid of the other guy you have on the team, so you end up with that churn that we were talking about earlier in the show, right? Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, Kenneth Walker, you bring him in as a running back, cool. I get it. But
anybody know their draft capital off the top of their head? Like, I'm wondering what their picks are.
Probably about 44 or 50 mil, I think, something like that now.
No, I meant pick-wise. I'm sorry. I should have said picks.
Oh, pick-wise? They got to be 15, 16, something like that, because they had a shitty record. I mean, reality-wise.
They are pick number 9.
Oh, no shit.
In the first round. They are then pick number 29 in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So, to your point, Nav, they lost the free agent battle, but I think Veach is basically trying to pop some collars and basically going to say, now watch what I do in the draft. So
right.
I think that's the thing.
They have 2 first-rounders, a second round, a third round, a fourth round, 3 fifth-rounders, and a 6th.
Correct.
They're retooling. They're trying to contend in 27.
Yeah. No, 27. Yeah.
27, something, yeah. Because everybody can't shut up about the 27 draft. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, good luck with that because they don't need a quarterback because that's what's heavy. It's quarterback heavy in 27.
Right.
So, my thing about it is this: Bieniemy coming back tells me that Andy Reid's ready to pack it up.
Yes, that's okay. There is signs of that with Bieniemy. I take Bieniemy coming back as they need to put some more discipline in the offensive side of the ball. They want to coach it up better, like more stricter, because they were letting it was getting a little bit too loose, especially this last season. That's where I'm getting with Bieniemy, but you could be onto something, Neff.
Well, but the thing is, I would like the chat to tell me what position did Bieniemy play? Just the chat, not us. What position did Bieniemy play without Googling? What position did he play? And if you want to be cool about it, what team was he drafted by?
Eric Bieniemy. Yeah, what team was that? Now you got me thinking.
I know.
Well, we got
Pedro got it.
Pedro in the house, running back.
Now, DZ, I have some questions for you.
I don't remember the San Diego Chargers drafting him. I knew he was on the San Diego Chargers.
Was he out of Colorado?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
And the reason why I remember that is because when he was in the head coaching mix, he had the we'll call them issues that cropped up from his time in Colorado.
Yeah.
Wait, so did the Chargers draft him?
Where was he drafted to?
And
if you want to get even crazier than that, where was he?
Second round draft pick, 39th overall.
Yep.
I remember him. I don't have a problem with Eric Bieniemy.
My wife could tell you, if you watch my show, if any Raiders are still in here, if you watch my show, you'd know who my wife's team is.
Should we just say that right now?
Do believe it was the Panthers.
That's where I was going to
go. Yeah.
But then he did play for the Chargers, right? Or did he coach?
He was primarily with the Chargers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
He also was with the Bengals and the Eagles.
Okay. Yeah, dude, he's an old school, hard-nosed coach, and he doesn't tolerate. Like, he's not for college these days. These kids are freaking soft, so he's just gonna piss off you know, these NIL transfers. So him coming back to the NFL, I mean, we'll see. He's got familiarity with the Chiefs. I think it's like
this is a handoff.
Yeah,
it's
I feel like
opinion.
Sure, school's back in session essentially.
I mean, and the first time he'd be the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. Just saying.
I see this as the Bruce Arians style.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
I think that's where you're going with this, Nav, and I'm just gonna, call it for what I think it is, and I think that's exactly what this is.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So, the one thing we need to touch base on before we end the show is DZ. Let's talk about your worst free agent signings for your team.
All right, we'll get through this quick because this is what threw the Chargers fan base in a freaking tizzy, rightfully effing so. Now,
I know who you're going to say.
This isn't. I don't think this is chronological order, but so they get rid of Mekhi Becton. That's your right guard, right? Rightfully so. Mekhi Becton was the giant piece of garbage all last season. Whether that's medical stuff, I guess he threw the coaches under the bus. There was a lot of stuff going on. Who he goes, he might go back to Philly and flourish there. I don't know. So the Chargers need guards, right? And we have a new O-line coach, Butch Berry, who worked with Mike McDaniel in Miami. Butch Berry was the offensive line coach there. They did a lot with less in Miami. I'll just say that. But that being said, we don't know how long we have Mike McDaniel in LA, right? It could be 1 year, 2 years. You bring all these scheme fits over. What happens when he leaves, right? Like, so you're stuck with these dudes. That's my problem. Well, they signed Cole Strange. Cole Strange was a first round pick with the Patriots back in I don't know what it was.
Wasn't it 21, 22?
Something like that. He was a first 22 first round pick with the Patriots, which is hilarious because McVay and Les Snead, who we were talking about, there's a famous clip where they were laughing about that. They were probably a little intoxicated, and they were like, we were looking at him in the 4th round. So that just shows you whoever was running the Patriots in 22 wasn't really, on the top of their game. That being said, he played really good his rookie year. Really good. But he's had back-to-back injuries, and he also had that patellar tendon injury as well. So he never played right guard. He played right guard last year for the Dolphins and ranked 59th out of 66 in pass and 64 out of 65 in run blocking grades. So they essentially brought back a worse right guard than Mekhi Becton almost. And at first people are like, okay, this is just depth. It's just a scheme thing. McDaniels, they don't value guards. I'm like, this is bullshit because they're paying him like pretty much starter money that we've seen, Ortiz, like his contract wise, like the amount of money he's giving around people. So right now, this dude is looking like our starting right guard, which I'm not too thrilled about. Now, what are they doing? Are they betting on that he's going to be 2 years removed from the patellar tendon injury and he's going to be a lot better? I don't know. But to me, this was a failed opportunity. They should have brought over a higher end guard. Like, there was plenty of them that left in free agency. That's where you break out the checkbook for. You're protecting your $200 and some odd $1 million quarterback who has been hit, like, I don't know how many times he was sacked, how many times he was hit last season. It's ridiculous. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he says trade me, or he goes the Andrew Luck route, and just says I'm going to go to Oregon and just raise my pigs.
Screw it.
By the way, his girlfriend, Madison Beer, a pop star, he could just be like, screw this, dude. I'm going to go be with this beautiful woman, and I've made plenty of money, and just say, screw this all. So, and
babies.
Yeah, right. Dude,
right,
he's been all over Instagram, like, we got to also think, like, these guys are young, right? And he's in goo goo gaga love, like, kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, there goes our There we go. We're done. We're
Crawford
told.
hasn't even turned 30 yet, has he?
No, he's
No.
like 26, I think. 27.
So my question of all of this was like, why would Jim Harbaugh need Mike McDaniels? Why?
Well, I don't think this was a Jim deal. I think that this was a John Spanos. John being he's the son of Dean, so John's running the team right now. At first, it was when I grew up. It was before I actually when I was really young. It wasn't the Spanos that owned the team. But anyways, it was Alex Spanos first in San Diego. Dean took over, and now John. He's got two of his sons running the team now, but it's John primarily.
Right,
They told Jim, look, dude, Roman's got to go. His scheme's archaic. It's not working. We have a Ferrari in a freaking trailer park. We need to use this guy. They bring over Mike. This is a way to Mike can kind of save face in the league, see if he can get Justin going, get this offense going in LA. I think they took some coaxing, and they're going to try to implement some schemes. I have zero clue how this is going to look, by the way. I don't think anybody has a clue.
But that's chaos to me.
Oh, 1,000% this chaos.
Because I was like, wait, if you bring anybody in there, you just lost Jesse Minter. You bring in a freaking established defensive coordinator. You don't bring in Mike McDaniel.
Well, no. So there, and then the defensive coordinator, that's Chris O'Leary, who's only got 1 year of calling defenses under his belt, and albeit that was only in the freaking MAC, not even the Big Ten, not even the SEC. So you're like, okay, yeah, like
that's exactly what I'm like. I'm like, why do you bring an offensive coordinator in? Jim Harbaugh's an offensive dude, right?
Well, so Jim has given up play calling duties for quite a while. He's just the team builder kind of guy. He's like the matchmaker. Essentially.
I get it, but damn, it's fishy. It's got a fishy smell.
It's like, hey, dude, like shit or get off the pot kind of thing right now. It's like we need to turn this around. We need to win some games when they matter, and we've fallen flat on our faces in the playoffs under Roman's scheme, albeit there was injuries, sure, but they want to see more from the offense. I think Mike, he's off the Shanahan tree. This guy is we'll see. Like, I don't want to say it's going to be the next greatest thing is sliced bread because we really don't know, but it should be really interesting because he does a lot of pre-snap motion stuff, wide zone, crazy stuff. When we saw what he did with what he had in Miami, and for a while it looked pretty damn good. But
look, hey, the big thing from me to the Charger fans is this: if y'all can stay healthy, you're going to be a problem forever.
There's the big if. You just threw that quote unquote IF.
Right. But that's the thing. You're going to be a problem if you can stay healthy. Especially
they would have been a problem if they would have brought in some better guards. Now, so this is what I'm getting at. I'm going to throw in another player, and we're going to hurry this up. They also decided to run it back, bringing in now, albeit a depth guy, Trey Pipkins, who they can't quit. They drafted this guy in 2019. He, played right tackle because let's just face it, all our guys got injured. And it was his fault why Joe Alt got his ankle obliterated for the second time. He olayed a dude, and the guy torpedoed and blew out his ankle. We've been trying to get rid of this guy, get away from him, bring in new, fresh offensive linemen, but they ran it back with him. He ranked the 84th out of 89th for tackles last season, and he played a lot. Yeah, so they brought back not one, but two really horrendous guys. Now, I get them bringing back Trevor Penning because they traded for him and they wanted to run it back. He's another former first-round guy. They like him as a sixth offensive lineman. He's not really – he's got the right mentality, but he's not polished, right? Let's just say. So what the Chargers have done with only 5 picks and what's left in free agency, you're pigeonholing yourself. You are pretty much saying we have to draft a guard.
Offensive line.
Yeah, offensive line. You have to get offensive line, and then you have to get an edge because with what they have, Bud Dupree shouldn't be on this team anymore. He should be, raising grandkids or something. He's not good. Khalil Mack, he's old. He still serves a purpose, but he doesn't have that pass rush. He's more of that, he's setting up that perimeter. That's his deal. And he opens it up for somebody else. Kyle Kennard, the guy they drafted last year, didn't even record a pressure. That's how bad he was. What they asked him to do, I don't know, add 20 pounds and run it back, we shall see. So they're pigeonholing themselves going in this draft, which you don't want to do as a team. You want to, we were talking about the Texans earlier, right? Like them filling up their offensive line, and Richie was like, not that big of a fan of. But what they can still do is draft some linemen. And then one of these guys, they can just be like, peace, see you later, dude. Because I'm sure there's some language in some of those contracts where they can say see you later if they have a rookie step up.
Yeah.
Now,
one of the things you can do in the draft, the one thing that translates from NFL to the NFL from college is offensive line play.
Yeah. So and now I'm hoping. I'm like, does Ione fall to them? Vega. You could call him Vega or Ione. Does he fall? Because it's looking like some other teams have taken some offensive line, where they would have picked him. But I still see the Ravens maybe grabbing him because he is a damn. I would love to have him on his team. He's the guy at Penn State. Looks like he's going to be a beast at guard wherever he lands. Now, if they don't get a offensive line in the first round, they edge. I hope they go edge. And there's only one player that I'm willing for them to take best player available on where I'll be okay, and that's Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end. Because I think even if you have those needs, you can't pass over a tight end like that to throw in your room. He's just that explosive.
He's pretty good.
But, yeah, those are my two bad guys. And they haven't added any more guys. They haven't added. So you have Joe Alt. You're praying to God. No left guard right now. You brought in a solid center, and then you have Cole Strange. Oh, I'm sorry, reverse, because they're going to want Slater to be out in left guard, which I don't agree with. So Slater, nobody, Biotish, Strange, Alt. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm not too happy right now. I think they dropped the ball in LA, especially in free agency.
I can appreciate that. In addition to that, you also have the two injuries that you're looking and hoping that your guys come back from, which is not a guarantee either, which is something else. Which is something else to factor in.
Max is also not a guarantee either.
No, I agree with that too. But I think Max is of a certain character that it would take.
And let's face it, they don't need Max to be ready to rock and roll right now.
No,
they don't need them to. They got Quiddy Pay, they got Kuntz, they got other guys they can bring in the free agents or in the draft.
Yeah.
And they can just be like, Max, chill, dude. Whenever you're feeling good, ready to rock, come out and play.
Yeah.
That's how they can do with Max.
And Max also is a steadying force on that team as well, just in terms of his general mentality as well. But I have a much simpler thing for my Denver Broncos for our worst free agent signings. The Denver Broncos had one of the worst tight end rooms in the entire NFL. It was the third worst, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, let's just say not good enough. Okay, fair enough.
We've already spoken about the whole room.
Whole room. One of the worst, and the guys that barely played last year, was a guy by the name of Lucas Kroll. And while I will admit we did not bring him back on a big expensive deal, we still did bring him back on a deal. And I think the Broncos needed to prioritize bringing in a more versatile, well-rounded tight end to round out the room. I could also see how Broncos country could disagree with that and replace Lucas Kroll with Troutman as the worst signing in the tight end room. And overall, what the Broncos need at the tight end room is a better, more well-rounded tight end that can both pass catch and pass pro or pass block or inline block.
Okay, so you're saying a why. I disagree with the why. You know how I said earlier that I could, you guys' earliest pick is the second round as of right now, right? And I thought that would be like a D tackle for John Franklin. There's another guy that I could see the Broncos
It
getting.
starts with an S. I can't remember that guy's name.
Yeah.
Swowell or something.
Nope.
Something like that.
Stowers from Vanderbilt.
Stowers. That's his name. Stowers. Yeah.
I could see them going, if he's there, I could see them going, boom, that's our guy. Because that's another weapon, like damn good weapon, by the way.
I heard a comp for him as Trey McBride.
He's actually another comp is the Chargers, who was rookie last year, Oronde Gadsden.
Yeah.
They're almost the damn same, but
yeah. So either way, my point is that in the current offensive scheme that the Broncos run, you need a guy that is not a giveaway in terms of what he's going to do at the tight end position.
That's true.
You need a guy who can block or pass catch, and you can't know which one that they're going to do. You need that well-rounded player at the tight end position.
That's why Tyler Warren is my favorite tight end in the league right now.
Yeah.
No offense, I love Bowers.
But. Yeah, but that's my point, right? Is that Lucas Krull is not that guy. He is not a guy that I'm super excited about. He barely played well, and in my opinion, it pigeonholes your ability to potentially get better players at that position, because you simply can go in saying, well, we have our guy, or at least a guy we know. And I just don't think that is a look, there's a time to stay pat and there's a time to move on. And I think that's a time to move on. So that's my one of my least favorite signings for my Denver Broncos. Last but not least is Jaleel McLaughlin. Now, this is not necessarily a popular pick within Broncos country, because I think he has some upside, generally speaking, at the running back position for my team. But my problem with Jaleel is that he is a one-trick pony. And I believe that in today's NFL, you cannot have a guy like Jaleel in a room of running backs that the Broncos currently have. And let me explain. Now, if we did not bring back Tyler Bidet, which we did, which is bad, and Jaleel McLaughlin, which you did, which is also bad, you can only bring back one of those two guys, not both. We brought back both. And the reason why I think that's a problem and a concern is that the Denver Broncos had a major problem at the running back position last year. We had J.K. Dobbins, and as soon as J.K. Dobbins went down, we basically had no running game at all, period. It was gone. Now, Jaleel, to his credit, had 5-point-something yards a carry, but also to his detriment, I suppose would be the best way of putting it, he was basically benched for the first 3 quarters of the year because J.K. Dobbins made Jaleel basically irrelevant. Jaleel is a one-trick pony at the running back position. He can only run the ball. He cannot pass pro, and he can barely pass catch. So, in my opinion, I think the issue that the Denver Broncos had is we love the guy, which, by the way, Jaleel, from all intents and purposes, first guy in the room, last guy to leave the building. Okay? First guy in, last guy out. Can't discredit that. Good for him. He's the type of guy you want on your team. However, he can only really run the football. He's not great in pass pro because he doesn't have the stature, the size in order to block against larger defensive tackles or larger defensive ends. And he is not the greatest at some of the other more versatile elements that you would want from your running back position. I like guys like Amari and Hampton. I like guys like Washington in this year's draft. Guys that are like 6 foot, kind of like a little over 200 pounds, in that general range. It allows you the full gamut of versatility at the running back position, pass pro, running the football, and pass catching.
Well, there is a guy that's free agent, Nick Chubb. I mean, that's kind of.
He is constantly hurt. We already have a Nick Chubb. His name is J.K. Dobbins, and so
true. I mean, good point. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, it is what it is. So the long and the short of it is that you can have your guy that might be oft injured as your cleanup guy because you can afford to potentially have him go down and maybe bring in a guy to kind of play cleanup later on in the draft or whatever.
Mitchell.
But you need a guy that can kind of be the well-rounded running back, pass catcher, all-round kind of like bell cow kind of guy. And in addition to that, RJ Harvey, while we did draft him in the second round, and you would hope he can kind of play out to be that guy, actually, in my opinion, got worse as the season went on because he continued to try to run outside of the tackles, not between the tackles, which then was a detriment to the team. So my general thought process is the Broncos needed a desperate upgrade at the running back position in this offseason. We did not do it, and Jaleel is not the answer at the running back position for my team. And I think that he is a crutch, and that's why I did not like him as a free agent signing for my team.
There's another guy, but he's coming off an injury that I feel like that's right up your alley, but he's coming off a major injury, is Najee Harris.
He is, if he wasn't a Cyclops and wasn't coming off of another injury, I would agree with you.
I mean, that's his only injuries. That's his only injuries he's ever had. He can pass block. Now, he can catch, but that's not really his game. And he's between the tackle kind of guy. Somebody's going to take a chance on him. Maybe not right at the start of the beginning of the season.
He's going to be a post-draft kind of guy. He's going to be the guy that you're going to bring in on like a Nav-style team or another team.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. The Raiders potentially.
Yeah, he's going to be a dude that's going to come in as a cleanup guy where if you don't get a big dude at the running back position and you want a hammer to add to, say, Lightning or whatever, you're going to bring in a guy like Najee, for example.
I'm looking at enough. I've just got free agents up on my phone, but AJ Dillon, that's another guy.
He's a big body running back. But again, he's older and he's also a guy that potentially gets injured and stuff like that. So like the problem is the Broncos needed a they need like an HN. They need a guy like
well, your HN is RJ Harvey.
No, I understand that, but the problem is that we needed a guy like the Seattle running back. We needed a guy
Charbonnet.
We needed someone like him.
Dude, Kenneth Walker, ETN, and then Dowdle, all guys that I was like at least had one peg going to the Broncos.
And the Broncos took none of them. And by the way, out of Broncos country, the reason why Jaleel McLaughlin was such a dud in a free agency for us has nothing to do with what his production has generally been. He's actually been quite productive when he's actually played. The problem is that we all opposing defenses know what he's going to do when he's on the field because he can only do kind of one thing. Very Philip Lindsay-esque, by the way, in terms of general play. Okay,
he had a good run, man.
Philip Lindsay had 2 years of fantastic play, but then he kind of became predictable because he could only run the football. Jaleel McLaughlin is the same thing.
Sounds Chief-esque.
There's another running back I could throw out there. He's a big running back, and he plays special teams, and he's still a free agent. I don't know if the Chargers bring him back as Hassan Haskins. He's like a 6 foot, 250 kind of guy. I mean, I don't know if
there's also a great signing. I think the Raiders got was Connor Hayward.
Yes.
As a fullback. I mean, that's something that I said early on. I'm pretty sure we talked about this. I said, what Genty needs is a dude in front of him, and you just do a split or something like that.
He needs the hammer. Yeah.
And yes, you know who his dad was?
With Connor Hayward?
Yeah. Are you old enough to remember Ironhead Hayward for the Saints?
You're aging yourself and myself. No, I'm not. But I with a nickname like that.
Craig Hayward was one of the best fullbacks in the league, or one of the best. Wait, what did Craig play? Yeah, he was a fullback, I think.
So his son actually ended up playing what his father played, position-wise.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. But
that's kind of rare, actually.
Yeah, it seems it's like rare these days.
But it's one of those where this dude, they called him Ironhead for a reason, because he just freaking put his helmet in you and move you out the way. You know. So if you get a chance, Craig Hayward is Connor Hayward's dad. You get a chance to look.
And Connor Hayward, where did he come from? The Steelers?
I think so. I think it was from the Steelers.
Well,
I remember you guys signing a fullback, and I was like, "Where?"
Well, I mean, this is the interesting piece, right? Is that there's going to be fairly little now in terms of free agency moves to fill out our teams at this stage. Now we've kind of probably finished most of those in terms of trades and free agent.
We're getting like one a day or one every other day now.
Yeah. So this is going to be a really interesting time for the collective league and our teams. Either way, I think that'll do it for the show. We've covered off all our teams, all the different moves, and all the different stuff. And coming up is obviously the draft. And so we're going to start having the pro days and the additional kind of bolstering of some of these candidates, where we're going to start getting some interesting additional information above and beyond the combine. So Nav, you went to the combine, but we're going to have that additional layer that's going to start coming on top of everything we saw from the combine. And that'll really add some additional, we'll call it complexity to the NFL draft. So ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are joining us, click the like button, the thumbs up, to ensure that we reach a broader audience and allow other fans just like you to find the show. If you have additional questions or comments that you come across, leave them below in the chat, whether or not it's after the show or during. We love bringing up those comments, as we've kind of shown over the course of the show. And if you have suggestions for topics, you can find each of us on X, with the exception of Nav. But my X handle's down below. DZ, his channel or his X handle is down below as well.
You pretty much get me anywhere on that 93 Nav.
Yeah.
If you do that, you pretty much get me anywhere. So
fantastic. So we'll go from there, and we will love you and leave you at that point here. And until next week.
One more thing, if I may. So I did accept a job. My start date is April 13th. So
it's coming up.
We're going to have to talk about maybe possibly Jack popping back in here for at least until I get my feet set at some point. But up until then, I'll be good to go.
I'm sure if Jack can't do it, you've got other Raiders guys that would fill in as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that will end it for the show tonight. Thank you very much for joining. And until next time, where the West Side is the best side. Peace.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east.